Welcome to SicEm365 Radio.
Daniels 7 yards deep in his own end zone, and he's going to be sacked, and that'll be 2 points for the Bears. Terrell Bernard.
SicEm365 Radio is presented by IdealMRI.com. High-quality MRIs for $497 or less. IdealMRI.com. Your health is important, so is your budget. The 3 o'clock hour is sponsored by Waco Custom Marketplace. Meats, sweets, Texas treats, and a cut above the rest. 425 Lake Air Drive, Waco.
And Prescott on the keeper, walks in, touchdown, Dallas.
Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
All right, here we go on this Wednesday afternoon, just after 3 o'clock. There's news with the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, news with Coach Krzyzewski at Duke, news with the transfer from the Baylor women's basketball program that was pretty much, I thought, going to happen. It's just taken maybe a little bit more time. We'll have all of that, plus much more. The Mavericks tonight, Game 5 against the Clippers in L.A., among some other stories as well. So Bryce Cherry today mentioning that Scott Drew, Jason Jennings, Susie Snyder-Eppers, all former Baylor greats have made the Texas Sports Hall of Fame ballot. Tony Brackens, Fairfield High School. I was on the phone with him earlier this afternoon. He's now a part of the bracket, and other names that have been carried over as the committee met today to set the ballot, and all of that information eventually at tshof.org. You can join to become a member to vote for who does make the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. But Scott Drew, all of a sudden, just imagine his resume alone and then add 2021 to it.
Yeah, I mean, he was already in my mind, like, had he retired kind of just, say doing this all the time with Baylor that had never been done. I mean, they had, between 1948 and when he got there, I mean, you could count their NCAA tournament appearances on one hand, right? So, and now before the national championship, it was something that was now expected that they got to the NCAA tournament. It was a disappointment when they wound up in the NIT or out of it. It was something that you didn't expect. So, yeah, that's a Hall of Fame career because you took something that was not that legendary and made it something that was consistently good. And now you've taken it to a point of they're national champions and they will live in that forever.
Yeah, I think he earned his potential Hall of Famer status a couple months ago. To what Paul's saying, that's all, great what he did. I don't know that's Hall of Famer career, though, if you're just really good for a long time. I think you're in the Hall of Very Good. I don't know that you're in the Hall of Fame. I'm kind of stingy when it comes to Hall of Fames. I think that, you don't have to have a ring to get in, but I think that Scott Drew went from being a guy who – could consistently for probably 20-plus years get you into the tournament 18 times out of the 20 and be a very good coach. And maybe by doing that in such volume, he's a Hall of Famer. But he just cut straight to the line by about a decade and a half by winning a national title. That's how much weight that carries. So cool for him. And, definitely makes sense.
There's a lot of names on this list. Some of the others who were on the primary ballot I think now include Simone Biles. So there's incredible competition. Clayton Kershaw, Chris Bosh, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, softball players Carly Patterson and Krista Williams, football greats Priest Holmes, Wes Welker, Colt McCoy. They're repeats from a year ago. They had enough votes to come back. Tony Brackens is on. Von Miller, Matthew Stafford, Stacy Sikora, volleyball player, track and field stars Charles Austin, Toya Jones, Brooks Kiesnick of baseball, and Charmaine James in rodeo. So those are some of the names. And then there's also the veteran committee that includes now Jimmy Wynn, the former Astros great, the toy cannon, and J.R. Richard, also former Astros great, and Lee Elder, who was one of those in the ceremonial tee shot this year at the Masters at Augusta National. So that's set. More information will be released. And, of course, they're going to honor what would have been the class a year ago. It's been a delay because of COVID last year. That comes up. The next banquet will be honored in, I think it's in August. Yeah, in August. Robert Griffin III, Adrian Beltre, who we've talked to, Clint Dempsey, Leroy Burrell, the track star from Houston, Michelle Carter from SMU, Michelle Carter, the track star, Francie LaRue Smith, Charlie Waters, DeMarcus Ware, Teresa Weatherspoon, and much, much more. Mike Krzyzewski So Roy Williams, remember, it was just in the last month or so, I don't know exactly how many weeks, and now Mike Krzyzewski. Williams is done. Mike Krzyzewski will coach one more year. We're seeing a major change of the guard, the old guard in college basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys ran the game for about the last 30 years or so.
Yeah, but I mean, you start thinking about, like, they're in their 70s and, how much more can you do? And, for Mike Krzyzewski, you could see it on his face last year. It took it out of him. It just took it out of him. He did not look the same to me, the same enthusiasm. And sometimes it's just time. And, we'll see if he can get one last ride in him. Duke is certainly not the Duke that they were even 4 or 5 years ago. But, and there's been, one of the things that happened with Duke is, Baylor and Gonzaga in the final this year was kind of strange to me. And if you look at the final, like Villanova with guys who were there for 4 or 5 years, veteran teams, that's how Duke used to win it, with veteran teams. And then they won some with the, getting a couple one and dones and mixed in with the veterans. But then after that, they just couldn't make it work the way that they used to. So maybe it's just time for Coach K to go fishing.
Well, I mean, he's 74 years old, so he's already past the current life expectancy, and maybe just wants to, use his whatever time remaining to, just not coach basketball anymore. He's been the head coach at Duke since 1980. He's been there for 40 years. I mean, that's a tenure right there. So, yeah, I mean, the end of the road comes for everybody. Get out before they force you out, and he wasn't anywhere close to being forced out, but he definitely was not the same Coach K these last couple years. I wonder for a lot of these older guys how much the current changing of the rules consistently and just a constant mess that is college athletics in some cases, especially right now. I just wonder how much that wears on you, just the constant shuffling that's going on. So I think that came into play for sure. And, just time as well. But, who knows? I don't think Coach K is like this squeaky clean, like never done anything wrong type of guy. Like he's kind of been propped up by the media at times, or at least was in the past. But I think he's just a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer, great for the game. Legendary coach, all those things. So, yeah, Duke without Coach K, you talk about a job opening. I mean, I know North Carolina was just open, and that was a big deal. But that Duke opening, unless they, announce somebody that's already set up, there you go.
Well, John Shire has agreed to become the next head coach at Duke. He's a coach in waiting for the upcoming season. I guess he's been on staff. I don't know much about him. Obviously, Coach K's the name, the face of Duke basketball.
He got Jason Tatum and Zion Williamson.
Yeah, he's the lead recruiter. Okay, all right. He's the choice by Duke. Duke's choice to replace Coach K.
Okay, so that takes some of the wind out of the sails, because that would have been really interesting to see what that would have looked like, people trying to get that Duke job, but never mind. Big news, obviously, in the end of an era.
Now, also, and this is not unexpected, but it started to carry a little bit, a week or two, maybe 3 or 4 longer. Moon Ursin has announced she will play at LSU for Kim Mulkey. She's leaving Baylor after her career. Let me tell you about Moon Ursin. She is the opposite of the transfer portal. She's transferring to LSU. She's a graduate transfer. She has gotten her degree. She wants to be a part of a nursing school setup, and I'm sure LSU has that. I think it's in New Orleans. They'll work that out. Or maybe she won't do it until she plays one more year for Kim Mulkey. Moon Ursin is not a transfer portal poster child. She was incredibly patient, waiting behind so many more that were talented and really good. She then she was able to make some plays and some moments. She's part of the national championship team, big-time part of last year's team that fell short because of the craziness against UConn. God bless her. I wish her the absolute best. And not only that, she's a great human being.
Yeah, that almost doesn't even look like her in that graphic. No. But that's a nice graphic that they put together for her. And, I wish all the best to Moon Ursin. Like you said, she did everything the right way. She gave her heart, tears, sweat, blood, everything for Baylor, and, helped bring home a national title and helped bring home a lot of wins. I think my favorite part of this, though, is, and I say this with all due respect to everybody involved, especially Moon Urson. But I'm just glad it's one less thing to have to talk about with Kim Mulkey and LSU, quite frankly. That's one less connection. So nothing against Kim, but she's the LSU head coach right now, and that's one less little attachment that we can now go ahead and snip out of the way.
As we mentioned last week, it was released, but Baylor and Villanova will be a part of the Big East Big 12 Challenge. The game will be in Waco. Also, MCC tonight's playing against San Jacinto in Grand Junction at 8:30 our time. Mitch Thompson, MCC coach, former Baylor assistant, will join us today at 3:30. I mentioned Mavericks and Clippers. Nobody won a home game. 2-2. We'll see if the Clippers' momentum carries over. It surely didn't do that for the Mavericks. Here's a note from Chuck Cooperstein. Go ahead.
No, I'm sure this will probably play into what I was going to say about the Mavericks, so go right ahead.
12 times in their history, the Mavericks have had a 2-2 series setup. The winner of Game 5 has gone on to win the series every time. 12 times they've been 2-2. Game 5 winners won it every time. Mavericks are 6-6 in these situations. So tonight, obviously pretty big. Pre-game 8:30. Tip is, I think the pre-game's at 8:30. I thought the tip time is at just after 9 o'clock, so it's a late tip.
Well, I hope they've shot some free throws in the last couple of days. For as good as Luka Doncic is, he is not a very good free throw shooter. And that boggles my mind. Like, that is so... That's just so
you can make a shot with a guy's elbow in your eyeball.
One-legged three-pointers, but you can't hit from the free throw line. Just tell me how that makes any type of sense. It doesn't make any sense. Like Shaq, you could at least say the ball's so tiny, and it's like him throwing a balloon trying to get it in the rim or whatever. He's the big man. You kind of. There really was no excuse for Shaq, but you kind of just shrug your shoulders and go, okay, there's no excuse for Luka to not be a great free throw shooter. There's really not. But they didn't shoot free throws well the other night. Kristaps was basically a non-factor. They weren't good on defense. Missed a lot of shots. What was the key in the first couple of games? They made a lot of shots, So Clippers, they've now found their stroke, and it's going to be tough to squeeze out another win. They had a golden opportunity in Game 3 with that big lead in the first half, and then came the Clippers on that comeback, and now they've dominated since then in the last game and a half. So big one tonight for the Mavericks.
All right, also tonight last night, did you guys watch any of Damian Lillard?
Oh, yeah.
55 points, third most in a loss in a playoff game. Jordan, 63. Mitchell had 57. He was amazing. He also was the first player in NBA history with 50 points or more, 10 assists, and 10 three-pointers in a game, regular season or playoffs in NBA history. Not a Westbrook or anyone else that launches him up, not Stephon Curry, any of them.
Well, there's a lot of stats that, spit out of that
but they lost.
Elias Bureau machine, whatever, you kind of scratch your head and you go hey, wait a second, how in the world did they come up with this stat? But that one right there that you just mentioned, that was an incredible stat. And Damian Lillard, been a big fan of his for a very long time. And I think, he's maybe one of the most well-liked players in the entire NBA. And I'm not sure exactly why that is outside of him. He seems like a good dude, and he's a good player. But, sometimes that doesn't still get you a lot of fan favorite status across the board. But Damian Lillard's one of the few athletes or at least in the NBA, that it just seems like it's overwhelmingly, they're kind of fans are kind of on his side. But incredible game, and yet it still resulted in a loss, like you mentioned.
Mavericks again tonight. Wizards, 76ers tonight. Philly up 3-1. Knicks and Hawks. Atlanta up 3-1 against the Knicks. Danny Ainge steps down, president of the Celtics. He did lead them, or had built a championship team when they had the super team. And Brad Stevens, you talk about a guy who's come out of basically nowhere, became very good in college. Then he goes to the NBA. Celtics were okay. Couldn't get over the next level with him. And now he's the president. Is that right, Paul?
Yeah, he apparently got burned out of coaching. It started in the bubble last year and was just kind of over that and wanted a different thing, and now moves into personnel. And, it'll be interesting to see what he does differently than Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge might have been the guy who kind of started the super team with that Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen triumvirate that they had. And then later on, when he had opportunities to do it, he didn't get that aggressive with guys like James Harden and Kawhi Leonard or anybody. He just kind of let that go. And they have some really interesting young talent. And when you've got Jason Tatum, who continues to get better and better. Kemba Walker was hurt for 29 games this year. They're still in a contract with him. They've got some guys that look young and talented, and maybe you could build something around. But, maybe it was just time for a shuffling there. And Danny Ainge, it's not like he's getting fired; he's retiring, or stepping away. So, it seems to be non-contentious there.
Crawford and Stanford play for the 2A championship in softball tonight down in Austin, as they will play 7 o'clock. No, excuse me. 7 o'clock is the final after Crawford won an extra innings last night. Also, I get word, I'm not trying to bury the lead, but because of what is the expectation that at some point in the month of June, the NCAA will have some sort of ruling on Baylor, it will not most likely be this week. I know that last week it was supposed to be. No, only because of one report, it was not. Have heard that it most likely will not come down at any time this week either. Of course, that is a fluid story. Well, at Mitch Thompson today, also David Anderson, who's the head coach at Bosqueville, they play tomorrow against Lindsay.
So is there an expectation as far as you're concerned that it would be in the month of June?
Oh, no question. I don't know. No one has specifically told me it's coming down in June based on just who I talk to and who I get a feel from that they are expecting something, yes. And they've been expecting something, but it will come down in the month of June unless something just completely just shelves it. And it's not just what they want to release. There's things that can go along the way that can happen as well. I don't, again, the report last week was obviously completely wrong, but it doesn't appear as if this week, if you're asking, because I had a couple of you, hey, what happened? It's not coming down. It didn't come down last week. It's not expected to be coming down this week. And the persons that I'm talking to are usually pretty much in the know, and they'll let me know if something does change, okay? Baylor football coach Dave Aranda, by the way, it appears might be a part of the show tomorrow with Craig and Paul, and just discuss some of the camps that are about to finally start. Like, life is back to another level there when it comes to recruiting and camps and all of that. I had a college football coach tell me yesterday, I can't wait. Because imagine how long it's been for them, too, as much as it has been for the players who want to be recruited.
I would think that recruiting's hard enough as it is, when you've got the camps and all that. But then when you take all the things you're used to doing and you're trying to sell your institution on essentially a web tour, or, hey, we can't come and talk to you, we're not allowed to, but if you can get here with your parents and drive around and maybe meet with somebody, tell us if you like it. I mean, that's really adding a degree of difficulty that I can't even imagine to something that's already really, really competitive and hard. So yeah, I'm sure getting back to it and getting to show what you can do and what you know, because it's hard. Like, one of the best things about camps is that you can coach them a little bit. You can teach them a little bit, and they can see what your style is. That was non-existent last year.
Yeah, it was. Did you ever think of the term Eskimo as being anywhere offensive? Not that you're an Eskimo, that you would understand that.
I honestly had, when I heard this, I had no idea. Like, there are things I had no idea.
Yeah, I've heard of this. I've heard of this for at least a couple of years. Yeah, that it's a harmful term, or what's the right word? I guess harmful work.
Offensive.
Offensive.
Derogatory. Whatever.
Yes, for what you would formerly have considered to call people Eskimos. That's considered like Redskins to Native Americans.
Okay, I did not know that. I must have not been paying attention. I did not know that. So when I saw this story earlier today, or late last night, the Edmonton Eskimos are now the Elks. And then I started looking it up, because I'm not trying to be flippant here. I did not know that this was something that was offensive. Of course, again, I haven't paid that much attention to it. So they changed the name. Very similar to because of what Washington did, Redskins to Washington football team. And in fact, Edmonton has been called the Edmonton whatever for a few months. Here, I looked this up. Some people consider Eskimo offensive because it's a popularly perceived to mean eaters of raw meat. In the languages, that's just one. When did the word Eskimo become offensive? In 1980, when the Inuit, is that right? Inuit was recognized by their council that Eskimo is considered a pejorative term. What race is an Eskimo? Okay, that Arctic, subarctic, we know that it's usually in places that are cold. Although the name Eskimo was commonly used in Alaska to refer to the Inuit and Yupik people, of the world, this usage is now considered unacceptable by many and even most Alaskan natives, largely since its colonial name imposed by the non-indigenous people.
Yeah, it's basically it's basically using the word Indians. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they're the Edmonton Elks now. That's what the change is. And yeah, it's basically referring to Native Americans as Indians, and some people didn't like being called Indians, and same thing with Eskimos. So that's basically, what it stems from.
And I think part of the reason that most people didn't know is, that's a very specific part of the country, and you would never, if you're not up there, it's very rare that you would meet someone who is an Inuit person.
If you haven't ventured up to the Arctic Circle.
So you'd never know until, someone told you. So, I think that's why. But I was really surprised. And it's one of those things that you just kind of assume, well, I thought that Eskimo was the name of the, it's not an English word. So, it was a word. But, so that one's out. Well, I'm glad I know now.
I did not know that. I thought I'd share that. Something new to come about. Also, a story that Churchill Downs is going to suspend Bob Baffert for 2 years. Will not be able to enter horses in the next two Kentucky Derbies in 2022 and 2023. Did I see where a second test came back positive? On the Kentucky Derby winner. Is that just shot holes in that whole Triple Crown thing?
I mean, it's really depressing that
You think people would learn, man? You think people would learn that the payoff that you get for just a little bit isn't worth the eventual downfall? Kind of like in baseball with the home run era and things like that. It's hey, you got the initial rush, and hey, that's cool, but it's also very fleeting, and it goes away, and then life continues on, and now you have to deal with the repercussions of that.
So there was a time in baseball, they had about 3 years before baseball really gave them the list of things they couldn't take. And so people, but they were testing and they kicked a positive test, they had a legitimate argument of listen, I don't know what we can and can't do. So we've been doing this. I tried to change it, and you got me. Okay. And they didn't have long suspensions then anyway. So they had that legitimate excuse. But then now baseball has this thorough list of here's what you can and can't take. So if you go to a doctor and you're, wherever you're from, and he gives you this, here's the list, and you can check it against that all the time. Every ingredient, all that stuff you can't take. The same is true in horse racing. So this whole thing that Bob Baffert said, well, he had a cream or something he put on that turned out not to be approved. Dude, you're Bob Baffert. You're not. This is not the story of this up and coming trainer and ownership group that got a horse in the Derby and it's that they bought for $750. That's not your story. You're Bob Baffert. So don't give me any excuses.
But
bottom line is
also Lance Armstrong.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's
bottom line, Lance Armstrong, you got the money and the wins, and guess what? Now you have no wins, or you have the ones that weren't disqualified, but you're a disgrace. I mean, you are. And I know he's tried to rehab his image in some cases, but Lance Armstrong is always going to have that scarlet letter on, so to speak. He always will. And I still don't believe a word that comes out of his mouth.
Even though he copped to it.
I still don't believe him half the time. But I will say on the excuse by Bob Baffert, this is not 1999 Major League Baseball excuses to say for a single second that you just put on a substance and you weren't sure about it. Well, you're automatically wrong, and it doesn't matter that you did that because that's happened so many times. Well, I'd put that cream clear on and I didn't know what it was. Yeah, that was an excuse for Major League Baseball players at one point in time, and you could even drag that out for a few years as we started to learn more information. That's now a BS excuse. If you have that much invested in that horse and these races and your team, then you're not putting anything that you might even think has a chance of not being what it is. So that's BS. He's a liar. He's a liar.
Any football, baseball, any athlete that says they did not know what they were putting in their body, it is a cop-out. It is an excuse because all of them treat their bodies as if they're shrines. They know. There might be an occasion exception, but professional athletes know everything that's going inside their body. Now, I can't date, I don't know about 20, 25, 30 years ago, but even then, or 40 years ago, But I would think that any professional athlete, before they take a pill, before they take anything, a vitamin, before whatever it is, an injection or whatever, would know what is it.
I didn't know this was on the banned substances list. Well, if it's that important, why did you not look at the banned substances list? And why did you just why did you just take something that you thought was okay? Well, you thought it was okay, but it clearly wasn't okay. So that's also a BS excuse. I didn't know what was in it, and come on.
Yeah, and that's, for baseball, it's kind of weird. I mean, one of the most legendary players in the history of baseball took a shot in 1961 that he didn't know was in it, and from some quack doctor, and that's Mickey Mantle, and it cost him the rest of the home run race against Roger Maris. You would think that cautionary tale would live in locker rooms for years and years to come.
Yeah, read about the original Fleetwood Mac, or like what I think was the best version of Fleetwood Mac, and like how half the band was just never the same after a bad acid trip in Germany one year. And just a bad trip, and Danny Kerwin was never the same, and Peter Green was never the same, and man, that you want to listen to some old bluesy rock and roll music, that original Fleetwood Mac's good stuff.
All right, when we come back, MCC and San Jacinto, it's a Texas battle tonight in Grand Junction at about 8:30 or so Central Time. Mitch Thompson will join us. He was on with Craig and Paul last week. He'll, Wednesday, I think it was, as they, of course, wrapped up a trip to the NJCAA tournament. We'll hear from him. We'll hear from David Anderson. Bosqueville has a one-game playoff tomorrow with Lindsay. I mentioned Crawford plays for the softball title tonight. Good luck to them with what they're doing, the Lady Pirates down in Austin. Much more to get to. We're going to have the Jared Butler interview from yesterday. We'll have that again today. John Machota at 5, and a couple of other things we'll have along the way. This is SicEm365 Radio. I shared an email yesterday with Braden Embry, and he told me that, the rain has slowed things down a little bit with their brand new facility they're building, the concrete being poured. That's kind of slowed down somewhat. On the new facility, or at the new facility, the construction site on Loop 340 and 12th Street, Pioneer Steel and Pipe is getting bigger, better, faster, stronger. Really, they're already better. They're already stronger. They're already bigger, better, all of that anyway, since they've been in business since 1943. But now what they're going to do is have a brand new facility, Loop 340 and 12th Street, and that's being worked on right now. You cannot stay in business since 1943 without a lot of things. One, you must be amazing at what you do running your business. You must also, not only that, great business owners, great customer support, because people keep coming back, customers back and back and back, not just once, but 2, 3, 5, 12 times. Maybe through generations of families that keep going back to Pioneer Steel and Pipe. Steel, pipe, metal, much more. And they are experts when it comes to what you need in constructing and building a metal building. And then on top of that, you have to have incredible product as well. Product that people want to come by, product that holds up through the test of time, through no matter what others do. Pioneer Steel and Pipe has done that since 1943. Pioneer Steel and Pipe, since 1943, is all you really ever need to say at pioneerboys.com.
Allen Samuels is celebrating Jeep Freedom Days. It's an exciting time for the Jeep Cherokee and the new Grand Cherokee. Built tough as nails and able to stand up to any challenging off-road trails or city roads, travel with the innovative technology to meet your lifestyle. Jeep, a great SUV. Allen Samuels, the award-winning customer service Central Texas dealer, the best place to get your next SUV. Located at 201 West Loop 340, or visit them online at AllenSamuelsDCJ.com. Allen Samuels is your friend in the car business.
Come by, let's be friends.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Ben Erlinson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Ben Erlinson, 100 North 6th Street in Waco, 254-759-8533. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Engel with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like instant issue debit cards free at all of our banking centers, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and two-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
Boots add protection. Good boots help you climb better and move forward faster. And when your son or daughter steps into the boots of a U.S. Army officer, they also learn how to lead. In these boots, they'll gain more confidence with expert training in one of more than 150 occupational specialties. In these boots, they'll stand a little taller and lead a team with diverse backgrounds and areas of expertise to successfully accomplish whatever challenge comes next. In these boots, they'll earn respect with valuable experience from day one that will give them solid footing for success into the future. Highly qualified candidates who earn a spot on our team can receive comprehensive health care coverage, college tuition assistance, and a bonus of up to $40,000. See all the things your son or daughter can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
The SicEm365 Radio Live Guest VIP Hotline is sponsored by Stonewood Dental. We are all in this together.
Last week, Mitch Thompson joined Craig and Paul after the Highlanders booked their trip to Grand Junction to be a part of the NJCAA College Baseball World Series. And now, a couple of wins into it. San Jacinto tonight, 8:30 is Central Time, and we're joined by MCC coach Mitch Thompson. You mentioned you love your draw. You're about to play a team that hasn't lost, but they've played one more game. That's a heck of an advantage.
Well, I sure hope it is. We'll find out, I guess, tonight if it is or not. I'd rather be sitting here having played two games than having played three. So we'll take it for sure.
Is there anything more than just the extra games? And of course, if you have to come to the losers bracket, and third-ranked or seeded Crowder obviously is having to try to dig themselves back in it, and whoever wins or loses tonight, is it really all about the pitching staff, or is it much more attrition than just pitching?
No, I think it's more pitching. It's just, we've been fortunate, playing the first day, the first game, and then we had a day off so we could recharge our bullpen. We played again. We could use our bullpen, and then we had another day off. We could recharge it again. And so, we're in pretty good shape. There's only a couple guys on our staff, the two starters that we pitched and maybe a reliever or two that we threw a little bit more than we wanted to on Monday that aren't available for us. And I think, I think San Jac will have to play another game. They'll be a little deeper into their bullpen than what we are.
How much is it an advantage for your players to be able to also see the team that they're going to teams that they could potentially play mentally without having to play a game in that day?
Well, we've already played these guys. We've already played these guys 3 times during the season, so we're familiar with them. They're familiar with us. We know their kind of coaching style, what they like to run. They know ours, how we like to run things. So, it's going to come down to execution. I'm glad that our guys have had a chance to get out here and see the other guys. And what I think that they figured out is exactly what I told them. We will have been battle tested playing the schedule that we play at home throughout the season. And when we get out here to Grand Junction, there won't be anything that we'll see that will blow our doors off, because we've seen it all. We've played them. We've played as good a schedule as we can, and when we do that, we're battle tested and ready for this moment. So hopefully we can continue to play well.
Well, Coach, it sure seemed like that came into play on Monday night, that Indian Hills game. You win 13-11, but, big first inning for both teams, and they score a 5 spot in the second inning, but you respond big time in the fourth inning. Just kind of take us through that victory. Seemed like a pretty exciting game.
Well, it was, and I give Indian Hills a really scrappy team, really well coached. They play differently than most teams that we play. They're more of a speed team, a bunt, run, draw, walk, steal a bag, just put pressure on you consistently. 2 strike hit, not going to strike out. And Brady Rose, our starter, wasn't exceptionally sharp, and so for the first time in a long time, we're behind. And behind by several runs and having to go to our bullpen early in the game. And, I'm just really proud of the way our guys battled back. We had to battle back 3 different times to come in there and win the ball game. But I never felt that one time during the game that our guys were like pressing and like, oh my gosh, we're not going to win this thing. I did go up and down the dugout and get after the pitchers and said, hey, we're going to have to throw strikes. You give these guys free base runners that they're going to beat you. And we just walked way too many guys that day. And so it was a little frustrating, but man, I give us a lot of credit. We fought through it and we won, and they were a good ball club. I mean, they knocked out number 1 Wabash. They knocked out, 3-time champion Indian or Iowa Western to get there. So Indian Hills was a good club.
As a baseball man, I know walks would be the most frustrating thing. What is the most frustrating mental or human mistake in baseball?
Well, probably in baseball is just like you say, just giving free base.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem with it out here is that, the ballpark it's 302 feet down the left field line. It's 345 or 350 in the gaps. So this is a smaller ballpark to start with. Now you add to it that we're playing at 5,000 feet of altitude, and all of a sudden, those extra base runners that you give them, they turn into runs pretty quickly around here. 13-11 score. There was a score the other day here, 24-14 for crying out loud.
Wow.
It's you get a little wind going, and at altitude, holy cow, this park plays really small. So, you just got to limit the free bases, limit the free opportunities of people getting on base. They're going to get on base, make them earn every one of them. And if you're going to give up a home run, give up a solo and not a 3-run shot. So, we'll see if we can do that tonight.
So I know this is simple math, Mitch. If you win tonight, you're the only team left without a loss, right, in the bracket?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, before we play tonight, there will only be 4 teams left. And whoever wins tonight, the only team left without a loss. We're all going to have to keep playing. We'll all play again tomorrow, play somebody, and continue the battle of attrition, knocking people out. Hopefully we can keep on that winning side and bring a trophy home. That's the idea.
Do you guys? I mean, you've been hot before in your career, but this is a hot streak that you're kind of rolling. Do you guys talk about it among the team, or is it just today is San Jack and that's what you got to worry about?
No, we're not talking about, oh boy, we're really, man, we played 20, whatever it is, 20 in a row or whatever. I'll tell you this, I told the guys earlier in the year, if they'll get on board with what we're trying to do and if they'll believe in themselves, we'll put together a winning streak of 20 games or more. And it'd be sure cool to win 23 in a row at the end of the year and win the whole damn thing. So we'll just see. It's one game at a time. It's one pitch at a time. And if you'll take the game like that, then you sometimes look up when you have a talented team and you do put together a 20-game win streak or something. That's the big thing. So.
Coach, I was just wondering, being out there in Grand Junction, this is the last spot for this team, no matter, if you win the title or if you come back to Waco without the title. But even though you're so busy and even though I'm sure you're watching a lot of baseball and game planning, are you able to kind of soak up those moments with your players and staff kind of knowing, hey, this is the last run that we're on right now? Or are you just so focused on the goal that you can't really do that?
Well, I think every one of us, we have some different family members and things that are here too, and we're trying to spend a little time and enjoy the moment with them. I mean, you got to do that, right?
Right.
But we're watching a lot of baseball. When we can get to the ballpark and watch the other guys play, we're doing that, trying to gain more knowledge and more information, and watching a lot of video and trying to be as prepared as we can so we can make good decisions to help these guys be in the right position to win. But yeah, we're all getting out. We're seeing the mountains. We're enjoying things, but it'll be bittersweet when it comes to an end, whenever that is.
Mitch, you have had the 2 wins, and then pitching tonight. If things go well, you feel good? You're set up as far as your starting rotation. Obviously, how many games you end up having to play, or if you have to go through another part of the bracket that could affect it, but you feel pretty good about all that?
Yeah, no question. I think that it's like I said all along, pitching depth is our strength of our team, and we're in good shape for tonight. And we'll get Logan Henderson back on the mound for tomorrow or Friday, whenever we decide to use him again, and Brady Rose will be available again. So we're in good shape, and hopefully we can, just execute and keep scoring runs. That's going to be the key, right? I mean, you just got to outscore people sometimes out here. And like I said, with the ballpark playing the way it does at altitude, it's funny. You got a 10-run rule after 5 and an 8-run rule after 7, and you look up and somebody scored 24 runs in a ball game, and you go, really? Are you ever out of it?
Yeah.
So kind of funny. We'll see if we can limit them to 1 runs at a time and put up some crooked numbers. It'd be sure a lot of fun.
MCC coach Mitch Thompson with us on SicEm365 Radio. We had Arthur Rhodes and help me out, Jason Jennings on the show last week to talk about
and David Murphy
back-to-back days to discuss the new exciting young players and how they celebrate during a game. What does Mitch Thompson think about some of these? Some people like it. It's new, it's infusion, it's youth, whatever. How does Mitch Thompson look at that?
I'm kind of a little old school, I guess. I'm okay with some spontaneous things. I don't like choreographed stuff. I don't like, we've got a little home run celebration that our guys do when they hit a home run. And you know what? I'm not about to step in their way and say, hey, don't do that crap, man. I want them having fun at this point in time. So let's go. But, Major League Baseball, I think it's a little different. Playing 162 games a year, you better show a lot of respect and a lot of respect for your opponent, or else you'll definitely be humbled quick in that game. So, I don't know. It's a personal preference for folks, and I'm probably on the old school side of things more rather than the new school side.
Oh, they were too. In a lot of ways, they were. Mitch, Arthur Rhodes, can you imagine like Arthur Rhodes or Dave Stewart or Bob Gibson staring you down, or Nolan staring you down the next time you came to the batter's box?
Well, I can promise you, against those guys, you weren't going to hit a home run and look at them and thump your chest and then think the next time that you come up, you weren't getting knocked on your butt.
Yeah.
So, but the game's a little different. It's for sure different at the college level. We have very little ability to police ourselves like that. We really depend upon the umpires because, if we try and handle it and guys start hitting people, oh my God, there'll be people losing jobs over that stuff. So you just can't do it.
Yep. Mitch, thank you. Good luck tonight. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for the time.
Mitch Thompson, MCC head coach. They play San Jacinto North Campus tonight in Grand Junction. If they win, they move on. They'll be the only team left in the tournament unbeaten, but there are still some good ones. Crowder trying to get themselves through the losers bracket. Here's an example. Crowder lost their opening game to Indian Hills. They got beat up pretty good 10-3. They then come back, have to beat Florence Darlington, and then have to beat Walters State, and then have to, then they play Indian Hills. And if they win, they did, and now they have to play the winner of McLennan and San Jacinto. So they got a long way to go, but they could flip the script if they somehow beat the team that wins tonight. We'll see. And then the team that loses has to go right back down into the losers bracket. When we come back, Bosqueville High School's had a hell of a run. They were down 1-0 in their latest series with Windthorst. They win the series 2-1. They have Lindsay, who knocked out Crawford tomorrow night in the 1-game playoff. And we'll hear from their head coach, David Anderson, next on SicEm365 Radio.
The First National Bank of Central Texas, 5 locations right here at home. Waco, Woodway, Hewitt, China Spring, Martin, and Hillsboro. Familiar faces making local decisions, here to help you, your family, and your business, whether it's great times or tough times. All of us need a bank we can count on. Great people, great technology, dedicated to their customers and helping our area grow. Safe banking in person or use their online and mobile apps and convenient drive-through and ATMs at all locations. They've got first free checking. When we say free, they mean free. No minimum monthly balance, no monthly service charge, unlimited check writing, and unlimited debit card purchases. One of the many great products at the First National Bank of Central Texas. 5 locations right here at home.
I hate my job, but I don't mind getting up in the morning. I dread each day, but I can't wait to get out of bed. You ask me why, and what I'll say to you is true. Well, you can get breakfast tacos at Rudy's Barbecue. Scrambled eggs and brisket, they ain't fooling around. Sausage wrap, son, they're the best in town. Barbecue for breakfast, yes, it's true. Put a smile on your morning at Rudy's Barbecue. Next in line.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Do you or your kids get nervous about going to the dentist? Stonewood Dental, Dr. Steve Childress, he can help.
I've spent a career taking care of patients who as children had bad experiences, and now they're adults that hate going to the dentist. If I get a kid at 3 years old and they come every 6 months and it's a happy experience, it's normal for them. Now they have an accident at 6 or 7 or 8 at school. Now they have a broken tooth or a trauma, and they have to come here. They're used to lights, they're used to water in their mouth, they're used to experience, they already trust us. It's amazing what we can do with that kid without it being a negative thing. But if I see a 6 or 7 or 8 year old that's never been to the dentist, and now they have a trauma or an unfortunate unexpected toothache, it's harder to do that for that kid and it not be somewhat of a negative experience. So bottom line is I try to teach kids and adults and teenagers and everybody the way I'd want my family treated, which is where it's a necessary part of life. You just take care of it. It doesn't have to be that big a deal.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has protected fellow Texans with auto, home, health, and life insurance since 1952. With more than 260,000 square miles of land and 27 million people, that's a lot to cover. Whether you're wrangling cattle or wrangling kids, we're proud to protect Texans in all Texan ways of life.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Car has the trucks, man. They have the one for you. Crew cab, short or long bed, silver, black or blue. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, he has the truck for you. Carr has the trucks, man. He has the truck you need. If you want the best truck, you want a GMC. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, they have the truck for you.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trusted doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
Have you downloaded the SicEm365 Radio app? Do it today on the App Store and Google Play.
All right, we are joined by David Anderson. He is the head coach at Bosqueville High School. They are into the regional final. Lindsay in a one-game playoff tomorrow after coming back to win their series best of 3 against Windthorst 2-1. And David Anderson joins us on SicEm365 Radio. Scott Drew will join us at 4 o'clock. David, you guys have rarely trailed. You have rarely ever been in a position where you had to win, other than, of course, playoff games. What was it like to start with that, and then we get into Lindsay, the way your team battled back, especially with some of the adversity you faced last week?
Yes, sir. We haven't been down much, like you said, all year long. And, after game one, looking at the kids' eyes, I knew that they believed in each other. They believed that we could go get it done. And, we just told them, hey, guys, we're meant for this. We have the pitchers for it. All we have to do is go out and score a couple runs and get after them over these next 2 games. And the guys stepped up and they did it.
You now have a 1-game playoff. Was that your decision or Lindsay's?
We in baseball, they asked for a 1 game. We asked for a series. We flipped the coin and they won it.
When you get to the 1, how do you have to kind of not downshift, up to whatever you want to call it, change your expectations or the way that you focus on getting ready for that game as you do for a series?
We're not going to do anything different. Just kind of looking at last week, we told the guys we just played 2 1 games back to back. It was win or go home, and if we didn't win, our season was over. So we're going to go in with the same approach that we always do. We're going to play loose, and whoever's hot on the mound is going to keep the ball and keep it rolling for us.
Coach, what's it been like to have this experience with your guys, having a season that's lasting this long, and just everything that I'm sure you've been through, like most out there? What's this just time been like with your players?
Oh, I'm loving it. The kids are loving it. It's been a lot of fun. There hasn't been a day this year where I haven't wanted to show up to the ballpark. The kids have bought in since January. They've done everything we've asked them to do. It's a fun group to be around. There's a lot of energy, and we just love going to the ballpark and playing baseball.
What's that like? Because that's not always the case. Sometimes there's going to be things you face along the way. Oh, before you get to that, what was the story about the bus breaking down after you won Game 2 on your way back to Bosqueville?
Well, that wasn't the only bus issue of the week. Game 1, we're heading up there. The door breaks on I-35. It lets out all the cold air from the air conditioner. It's probably 110 on that bus. We get up there, Game 2, we're heading back. All of a sudden, we got an electrical failure. We stop the bus. We go to turn it back on. It won't turn on. So our main concern really was just making sure we could get parents up there, get the guys home so they can get to bed for Game 3. And, our kids are resilient. I think a lot of people have found out, especially over this last year with COVID and everything, that kids can handle stuff really well. And, they took what was put in front of them and they handled it with adversity, and they went out and got it done in Game 3.
Well, that's you know what, you're right. We young people, sometimes we hear them say this, David, that or maybe older people like me, well, kids today don't get it, but they do get it. They've been through as much as most any generation has been through, other than those who's experienced world wars, right?
Right, yes, sir. Kids these days, from going and having to learn online for 6 months to having to go through everything we've asked them to do. And the kids at Bosqueville, from kids who aren't in athletics all through the school, they've done an awesome job. We've got great kids, and they really stepped up to the plate this year. And it's been a fun year to be a Bosqueville Bulldog.
So if another team usually asks for a 1-game playoff, and I know in some other series, if you have a really good pitcher, you feel like you'd rather do the 1 game. That doesn't mean you don't have others. That doesn't mean you don't have one really, really good pitcher as well. But is that kind of the case with Lindsay? Can you give us a scouting report? Because they just knocked out Crawford.
Right, yes, sir. They got a couple pretty good arms. Their strength is pitching and defense. They do a really good job on offense. It's small ball. It's an East Texas style, small ball and run. They got a few arms. It's just, I think he feels with his number 1, they have a really good shot. And, I think after watching our series with Winthrop, people figured out that, wow, Bosqueville really does have the arms to compete for a series. So, for them, I feel like their best shot is the 1 game. And, we're both going to go out there. I know both teams are going to play with everything they got.
Who gets to start for you tomorrow night?
That's inside with the team.
I wasn't trying to put you on the spot. I know you've got options to do it. You're 33-3. 33-3. How about that?
It's been a lot of fun, but like we tell the kids, and the kids have been telling me, is our ultimate goal is to win 3 more. they want to finish the year with 3 more wins, and they want to be state champs. And they've been telling me that since the start of the year, that that's their goal. And, that every day, wherever we're at practice, we've been practicing all over because of rain. Is they say how many miles we're away from Round Rock. And, we were at Whitney this week. We were 82 miles away from Round Rock, and that's our ultimate goal is to get there.
David, when you look at what Bosqueville has done, and obviously I was there at the commencement ceremonies on Saturday night, a lot of success throughout all of the sports, up and down your school. How much does that carry over?
Oh, it's huge. Football this year, going into it, we didn't really know what to expect. And, our guys really stepped up. They handled all the COVID protocols well, went 4 rounds deep, and that led to our success in basketball. Our basketball team, they finished 4th in district, and they had to go play Marlin, who was racking up tons of points. And, they were able to battle through and get a by-district championship. And then 5 of those guys who played in the basketball playoffs in round 2, a Thursday night, came out and started for us on a Friday morning at 9 a.m. So our goal was just let's keep it rolling, all our success, and, let's end it with a state championship, the ultimate goal. Hey, good luck, David. Thank you very much for being a part of it. Good luck with those buses as well. And keep going. You keep going. Thanks for your time. Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having us. David Anderson of Bosqueville. They play Lindsay in a 1-game playoff in the regional final. In their playoff run, they had to come back from 1 game down to none to Windthorst. They swept Ranger, swept Frost, swept Toller, and then win 2 out of 3 against Windthorst after dropping game 1. All right, earlier today I mentioned that there's a new ballot out for the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, or it will be released at some point this summer. And one of the names now that has been added to the ballot is Baylor basketball coach Scott Drew. We'll discuss him. Of course, new players and faces on campus. Villanova, non-conference game among some others. But his thoughts about being a part of the Texas Texas Sports Hall of Fame ballot and what that means to him. SicEm365 Radio.
At Baylor University, students can shine in their own way. Or should we say their own ways? Because there's no limit to the ways Baylor students make the world a brighter place. Whether they're leading a student organization or following a higher calling, getting advice from faculty, or taking part in world-class research, pursuing their dreams, or working toward their dream job, students find their place to shine at Baylor, where lights shine bright.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs, even offering financing if that's needed. Everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
At Marco's Pizza, get craveable pizza made the Italian way with dough made from scratch, an original sauce recipe, 3 fresh signature cheeses, and premium toppings you love, served hot and safe. Right now, you can get unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Why stop at just one? Order with your app or at marcos.com for curbside, carryout, or delivery today. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones Whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
it's time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, or get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. Order 30-pound sacks of live crawfish by 6 on Wednesday. Pick up on Friday afternoon after 2 or Saturday. Enjoy the weekend. 30-pound sacks of live crawfish available right now for $4.25 a pound. Find all the crawfish boil ingredients you need, including red beef potatoes, sausage, corn cobbettes, and Louisiana boil seasoning. Make your order for live crawfish by Wednesday at 6. Pick up on Friday after 2 or all day Saturday, and enjoy the weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace, your home for fresh baked kolache, cinnamon rolls every day. Butcher shop to cut your steaks the way you want. Fresh seafood, summer sausage, boudin, house-cured and smoked bacon, spices, seasonings, soup mixes, and more, and weekly gift boxes for any occasion. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
Here's Butler getting it easily, and the basket counts.
The 4 o'clock hour is sponsored by Boozer's Jewelers, the wedding ring store, specializing in custom jewelry and repair, all in-house.
Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
Texas Sports Hall of Fame has their annual meeting the first Tuesday every June. This year they moved it back to Wednesday, and I was not able to be a part of it, but a lot of incredible sports media people are part of it, and it was released. And one of the new names on the ballot as a possibility of induction down the road to the Texas Sports Hall of Fame is Baylor men's basketball coach, national championship head coach Scott Drew. The Texas Sports Hall of Fame is right down the road where you play your games. What does that mean to you?
It's a tremendous honor and blessing to be nominated, and at the same time, those are team awards. And what team awards mean is if it wasn't for the team's success, there would be no nomination. So really, it's a staff and players honor, administration honor, everyone in the same boat.
What have the last couple months been like as when you get introduced as national champion?
That's a really good introduction. I like that introduction. So that's first and foremost. I tell you, it's a great blessing because the platform is so much bigger for Baylor basketball, Baylor University. It gives you an opportunity to just spread the good news about Baylor and what Baylor is about, what Baylor's done and is doing.
Coach, we had Jared Butler on yesterday to talk about his decision to enter the NBA draft. He said that obviously he talked it over with you guys. I'm sure it didn't come as much of a surprise, but just on your end, Jared Butler moving on to the next level, what are your thoughts?
Well, first and foremost, if you're going to leave a school, I don't know if there's a better way to leave it than Jared did. So we always talk about leaving everything better than you found it. And he broke a number of firsts. First All-American, and not only first Player of the Year, Big 12 Player of the Year, but more importantly, the lives that he touched from teaching Sunday school, being a great spiritual leader on our team with different organizations on Baylor's campus, being on the Division I council and representing all the student athletes. I mean, Jared is one of those all-around guys that when he's done playing basketball, if he's a governor, a senator, the next president, you're never surprised because he's such a great servant and somebody that has given back in so many different areas and really cares about people and has such a great head on his shoulders and articulates so well. You knew that Butler, Maceo, Davion, and Mark most likely were gone, and some of them moving on. Can you think about a clump of four that could ever leave that had that kind of an impact on a program? I tell you, very, very, very few ever do, especially you look at it from twofold. One, academically, the success they've all had. Two, you look at just the first that they're leaving behind. A lot of times you have four players that might win a championship, but to have so many firsts, like the first national championship, the first Big 12 conference championship. Now, we've won a conference championship, but it was in 1950. I mean, again, a lot of firsts they achieved, and then did it in such a class manner. Such great role models, such great representatives for the university. Their interviews are outstanding, and Mark Lease is the winningest Big 12 basketball player, and rightfully so and fitting so. I mean, in today's society where very few people stay 1 year to the next year, I mean, he's been a part of our program since 2013 when he committed. So somebody that has really been behind Baylor and helped Baylor be so successful in so many different areas.
Scott, we had Mark in the studio last week, and it was an unbelievably great interview, and talked about his kind of whole journey with Baylor. He's one of those guys that thought he was one thing as a basketball player, and then grew into another one. For him in particular, what was that like, watching his journey of understanding what he was as what his true talent was, and where he needed to go, and him letting go of what he thought was his future as a player?
Well, and that's what coaching is all about. And what I mean by that is when you get a chance to work with someone long enough to where they're able to grow on and off the court at the same rate. And I mean, someone that comes in, and a lot of times you have freshmen come in and think that they're the person that's going to score. I mean, if you polled all the college freshmen next year, the common answer would be leading scorer on the team and one and done. And we know that everybody that comes in can't be the leading scorer, and they all can't be one and done. So fitting in on a role with the team, embracing that role, starring in that role, caring about the right things, and being such a servant to the team. I mean, that's what Mark did. And when you work with people long enough, hopefully they grow into that, where they're a star in their role and they embrace their role and they do whatever a team needs to win. And then you look at it, first one in his family to graduate, such a success story in the classroom. And I mean, when he first came to Baylor, I know he wanted a degree, but probably thought he'd be more a one and done than get his degree, and to see the excitement and the joy, because he knows how hard he had to work for that degree, and to know that that's with him the rest of his life, which is awesome.
Coach, you were able to welcome in some new players this past weekend. It's moving in time, and so the likes of Kendall Brown and Langston Love and James Akinjo and Jeremy Sohan, you've got all these new guys coming in. How exciting is that, and how excited are you to finally get these guys you've been recruiting so long onto campus?
Well, extremely exciting from the standpoint, in the summertime it's a transition period in May, not many people are around, and then all of a sudden you get the freshmen here, the first-time players here, and there's just new excitement, new energy. This week they'll go through a bunch of tests, like physicals and all the stuff they have to do academically, get all their body scans, and then we get to start working with them starting next week. So we can't wait for that. And that's also another thing is the transition from those four guys that are leaving. We spent so much time and energy working with them, and excited to see where their careers take them now. But now you have a new group coming in that there's something about working with people for the first time. You're excited, they're excited, and again, you get to start that journey again and just see how far and how much they can improve and where it takes them.
Scott, I want to go back to the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. I know it's right now, your name is on the ballot. You mentioned all these awards are team awards and how you have built the culture there. But, it's a big deal. There are names on this ballot that are monstrous names that have been around in different sports as well. You don't seem like someone who gets caught up in that at all. But what has it been like to get the attention you've received since you won the national title? Because you're the same person you were before you won it.
Well, the great thing is it allows us to give credit where it rightfully belongs, starting with our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and then the others. And others are the staff and the players, because again, those are the people that make it all possible. So anytime you get honored or people talk highly of what you've done, you get a chance to deflect it on the people that deserve it the most.
Coach, I know recruiting is challenging and difficult and all that, but last year had to be just even more ridiculous with not being able to do a lot of things you had to do, like camps, which I know you and your staff, really love and enjoy, and even if not for the recruiting, just for the community aspect of it. How excited are you to get back to normal and do normal recruiting things that can highlight Baylor and your program?
Well, you're extremely excited to be able to do some things that you took for granted before, meaning people wanted to come by campus and you could show them around at any drop of a hat, or that you could have a chance to go out and watch recruits live. And that obviously we all adjusted well to what we needed to do to make it a safe environment for everyone. But at the same time, it makes it so much nicer when you love people, and like when people get a chance to drive by and just stop in and say hello. You get to give them a hug, show them around if you haven't seen them in a while. That's something that all of us really enjoy. And if you didn't enjoy it, you wouldn't be in coaching, because coaching is about people and relationships.
Coach, I don't know if we've asked you before, and there's still obviously details to sort out with the new basketball field house, but it seems to be on track, and like I said, still some things to sort out. But just for you, what does that field house and the potential of it mean for you and the program, and just what you guys can do moving forward?
Well, it's going to be huge, not only for our program, but Baylor University, Central Texas. And again, I think it'll give us a great home court advantage where fans will really want to come to the games and be a part of it. And, they'll have a sense of being right on top of the atmosphere. And there's just something exciting about a new pavilion that excites everybody. So again, it's a win, not just for our basketball team, but for Baylor University, Central Texas, Waco as well. So can't wait for that to keep moving. One day when Smokey comes out for game day and he's got his RV, instead of cooking out for just one person, he's going to have a whole parking lot of people filled for him.
Still, when that day, remember that, Paul?
I remember, Scott. I'll tell you. So Smokey's idea was we're going to sleep in there all night. My apartment was 3 minutes down the street at that time. Yeah. All night long, the wind was blowing and shaking that RV. At about 3 o'clock in the morning, I said, "To heck with it, I'm going home. I'll see you guys at 7 o'clock."
Yeah, that was you driving up in that golf cart with those whatever that
crazy wings.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was like an oasis. I was like, oh my God, it's fantastic. And that was so cool. That was so cool. Last thing from me, you have a picture of your office and things all spread out for people to see, the newcomers, and even the transfers. I saw Didier put up a picture of the practice gym, the facility. What is that like to have that swag that you can now pass on from, okay, this is what we've done, let's not lose our hunger and let's stay focused? How much does that help?
Oh, it's like having a great meal. Once you have a great meal, you want another great meal. And when you win a championship, it drives you that much more to have another championship. And the good thing is, everybody that plays sports usually wants to be a part of a winning program, and they want to have success. And what our players have done and our staff has been able to help them do, in not just in recent time, but I mean to be the only Power 5 school, us in Kansas, to win 18 or more since 2008. In the last 5 years, to be ranked number 1 3 of 5 years, and it's only 4 programs have done that. So we've been consistently good. It hasn't just been a one hit wonder. In the last 2 years, the winningest program in Power 5 and winningest program in the country. But like I said, it goes further than that with the postseason success we've had since 2012. So again, a lot of years, a lot of success, and players normally want to be a part of winning programs, and they want to enjoy that. So hopefully we'll keep getting players that fit our culture and keep putting the team first, and winning a lot of games, and having your fans have a chance to have great memories. And wherever we have the pavilion established, we make sure we got that parking spot for you, Smokey, with the RV, and it's a wrap. All right, just remember that.
No matter where it's located, we will be there. No question about it. No matter where it's located.
Hey, Coach, you've got a new neighbor for the first time there in the arena with you, Nikki Collin, the new Lady Bears head basketball coach. What's it been like just to meet her, get to know her a little bit? I know she's busy putting her staff together and getting things done, but your initial impressions of Nikki Collin.
Well, first of all, anyone that Mac hires is going to be a great fit for Baylor University, and Nikki believes in preparing champions for life, and she's about Baylor University's mission. And the one thing that any of you that have had a chance to meet her, it only takes about 2 seconds to realize she's got a great personality, a high character, and someone that will really fit in well and do a great job. And I know our staff's really enjoyed getting to know her and work with the staff that she's brought in. And it's great to have Sophia back, and they're going to continue their dominance. And for those that haven't had a chance to meet her, you're really going to enjoy her.
Coach, look, I know again, RV game we could do this year right now before the new pavilion and anything. Villanova coming to Waco, and Jay Wright. You don't even get that long between the times you see them in the tournament and then early in the season.
Yeah, I think he'll be pretty excited to play us again. And the great thing is, I know we'll be excited too, because we have such great respect for their program. And again, that's 3 out of the last 4 national championships have been won by their program and ours. So you're getting the best of the best in the last 4 years. And the only way to be the best is you got to beat the best, and you got to play the best to get better. And both of our teams, regardless of the outcome, will improve from that game. And to have them in front of our home crowd is a great honor, and it's a great privilege representing the Big 12. So I know we'll be excited to put our best foot forward.
Scott, if you don't mind, one more follow-up on what Craig asked about Nikki Collin. She mentioned that your conversation with her was a huge part of a reason why she felt like Baylor was the right fit. Did you realize that when you were talking to her?
No, but it's great to know that you can have a positive impact on anyone's decision to come to Baylor, because we know what a special place it is, and I know we'll do whatever we can to help her be successful. And that's what's so good about Baylor University. It's a special family environment, and the coaches all pull for one another, all help for one another, all sacrifice for one another. And I know iron sharpens iron. We all make each other better, and we share ideas and thoughts, and excited about that.
Coach K's retiring.
Yeah, a lot of news today, huh?
I know. I mean, 2 huge names in Roy Williams and Coach Krzyzewski, all both leaving the game. Coach K has another year left. Is it amazing when you see names like that move on?
Well, they're going to move on at some point because they're getting up in age. But when they actually do, you reflect back and you're how thankful and blessed of being able to learn from them. And study under them. You spend time recruiting against them or with them on the road. And Coach Williams and I spent a lot of time together. I mean, I love Coach Williams, and Coach K I didn't have a chance to know as well, but we recruited against him, and obviously we played one time against him, and we've been trying to play a second time ever since that one time, and hopefully we get a chance at some point to play him this year, because that's how you get better, is playing against the best. And I know we're 0-1. We'd love to have a chance to even that up. Yeah. But he's done so much for the game, and so much for the USA team and college athletics overall. So definitely gonna miss him, but appreciate all his contributions and what he's done. And following when we won it all this year, I was able to be on his podcast, and got to talk with him after the podcast as well. And just really appreciative of his willingness to share his expertise and his knowledge and his thoughts, and answer the questions I had. And I'll always be appreciative of that.
And people are appreciative of what you've done, Scott. Continued luck. Congratulations on being on that ballot for the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, and thanks for jumping on the show with us today. Great to hear from you.
Appreciate you guys. You take care. All right. Hey, and the great thing is, stop by sometime and say hello, Smokey.
All right. You got it.
All right, Paul. Hey, keep him under. Hey, you got the tough job of keeping him under wraps today. All right.
I do all the time. Craig's here to back me up though, so it's good.
Okay, you got to double team him.
Thank you, Coach. Scott Drew.
Take care of you too.
Scott Drew, head basketball coach at Baylor, with us on SicEm365 Radio. We're going to hear from Jared Butler from yesterday's interview about turning pro. We'll have that in a minute. How good is he? How good, Scott Drew? The various things. I'm sitting there going, okay, we had him on about the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. There's so much to discuss, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, we got to hear him. We need to ask him about Coach K, Coach Nikki Collin, among everything else in between, the non-conference schedule.
One of the things that's wiped away kind of by the national championship is the game against Duke. Like the pain of that. I mean, it's always going to be there, obviously, for people who were there and are fans of it. But now that the national championship happened, that whole thing of that could have been the moment that spurred them on, And look, they would have, here's the thing, they would have played Brad Stevens, who got, had they won that game, they would have played Brad Stevens in the national championship game had they won in the Final Four. So, that's kind of...
I wonder, that's not a bad topic. A loss that you suffered as a fan, did it ever disappear because you eventually, and I know, Paul, we can get into the Red Sox, or we can get into Nebraska, we can get into Oklahoma, we can get a loss that hurt you, that haunted you, like Game 6 of the Rangers and Cardinals. Will that ever disappear, or will that be kind of pushed to the back shelf behind all the books if you win something? And I would think that I think it happens.
Rangers win a World Series. I don't care about Nelly Cruz completely botching that catch. Still, it would be like, hey, we could have 2 World Series, but as long as they win one while I'm alive, then that would erase any pain from that series.
The pain is really the fact that that was the thing, and it hasn't happened since then. So that's the pain of was that the shot? Was that the shot I'm going to see it? Because sports are hard, man. It's hard to win championships.
Some of those who have won the most have had droughts for a long, long period of time, and that's why you have to embrace them when you get them.
There's a generation of Cowboy fans right now that have no idea what it feels like.
6 years.
And I think that's maybe why people my age and older, while they might lament the Cowboys not being what they were, but at least we got to see it. At least we got to see it. Hell, I got to see it 3 times in my life. I'm more at my quota than most sports fans. So, can I really complain when you look at somebody who's, been a Browns fan their whole life and never even gotten close? I probably can't complain.
But the Browns aren't known for championships.
No, but I mean,
they were back before the 70s.
I'm trying to think of somebody who would be, who kind of fits that, so many other teams have won since the Cowboys have. It's hard to...
almost 25 others.
Yeah, like a Bengals fan.
I mean, the Patriots have a third of those.
I would say, if you're a Bengals fan who is probably 55, you're 50 or 55 years old.
They were an expansion team, in 69-ish?
Yeah, but in the early 80s, especially if you were a kid, if you were 13, 14, 15 years old in the early 80s, when they went to, or the late 80s, when they went to a couple Super Bowls and didn't win.
Early 80s, yeah.
Because they lost,
49ers twice,
They lost the 49ers twice. Do you think, if not for Joe Montana, I'd be a much happier sports fan? Yeah. What's going on? So
appreciate Scott Drew. Thanks to David K. for also making that happen. Also coming up, we're going to have yesterday's conversation with former Baylor All-American, Player of the Year, etc., national champion Jared Butler. We'll have John Machota today at 5 o'clock and much more. This is SicEm365 Radio.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
In the market for a quality metal building? Since 1943, Pioneer Steel and Pipe has helped Central Texas residential and commercial customers with metal building design, panel options, building components, and trim options. Pioneer Steel and Pipe's residential line is energy efficient, offers low maintenance, reduces insurance payments, is impact resistant, and carries up to a 45-year limited warranty. In addition, they can also help you find a metal building contractor for your project. Pioneer Steel and Pipe with locations in Waco and Bryan and at pioneeredboys.com.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Cam Heathcott, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Cam Heathcott, covering Conroe and Houston, 936-756-7717 or cam.heathcott at edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible and rewarding challenge. Hi, everyone. This is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like mortgage lending, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
The Sic'em365 Radio app is sponsored by Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Waco. Your friend in the car business at Loop 340 and east of 84. Come by. Let's be friends.
One interesting text we got from earlier today, Daniel acting on baseball players or Bob Baffert, Kentucky Derby, whatever. He's suspended from the Derby for the next couple of years with any horses. Daniel goes, when I was in college from 1993 to 98, I was the basketball manager. Our trainer used to tell the players explicitly what he was giving to them. And we were Division III. There is no excuse.
No. Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Thank you, Daniel.
And when like I said earlier, when you have that much money riding on these contracts, riding on your reputation, riding on everything, there are certain guys that are willing, Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, a lot of players in baseball, and I'm sure in other sports that we know of or had never found out about that, there's so much at stake that they're willing to give themselves that extra edge and gamble. And I think Bob Baffert's now in that group as well. And I know a lot of people suspected he probably was to begin with, but I have no doubts that they cheated and knowingly did it because that excuse, like I said earlier, is total BS. There's no reason why you don't know what's going on in your body. And if you don't know, you don't put it in there. It's really that simple. If this muscle enhancer that you grabbed off the GNC shelf, because I've heard that excuse before by an athlete, or you were handed to it by a trainer, because we've heard that excuse a million times. If that does not show up on the cleared approval list, then don't take it. And then if it's not on there and you take it and you get popped, whoops, guess what? That's your fault. Like, it's very simple here. And so for anybody to knowingly take something that they know is not cleared or just not put the effort in, I just think that's BS. I think that's total garbage excuses once you get caught.
Or call You have a straight line number to the NFL, Major League Baseball, hockey, whoever it is. Call somebody.
Yeah, there's no excuse.
And if you don't, that's stupid.
There are a lot of things in like sports that fans might get mad about or get like, and when you really know, like, you know, if you see an NFL player get a DUI, like NBA play, like any of those guys, like they can afford their own Uber account, but guess what? They don't have to pay for one. All they have to do. Even if they say they don't want to take an Uber because they're too big a star and they don't want the Uber driver to be like, hey, I've got, you know, so-and-so back here. They can just call the team and be like, hey, here's where I am. Send a car. And like, it'll be secure. Like no one will know that you're drunk in the back of a car with whoever. Like the world will never know. Like you're just on the way. The sad thing about the marijuana program in the NFL was they would tell you, hey, guy, in 60 days, after 60 days, in 20 days after that 60 days, we're going to show up and we're going to need a jar of pee.
Yeah.
So you have 60 days.
Dude, I know guys that play, it's very clear what you're saying. I knew guys that they knew when to smoke weed because they knew when the drug tests were coming. Like, it's hard to get caught is the point. It's hard to get caught. Nobody wants you to get caught. It's hard to get caught. So it's just stupidity is what it boils down to, and ego and arrogance.
Hey,
and that's why Bob Baffin's getting talked about today.
I think the marijuana change in the NFL is as much to just save them the headache from the BS. Like now, like think about it when they fought it, and they're like, look, we've tried to just, you know, lay out a red carpet to success for them. They're not getting it, and it's the national attitude has changed, and you know, a lot of them are, you know, medicating with CBD and all these other things. We've got to back off this, and then like there's a whole office of people like, man, my life is way easier. I'm not running down, you know, guys, you know, in different parts of the country.
Yeah, no, you're right. It could be as much the lack of having red tape or the lack of red flags or the lack of just the constant barrage of players testing or whatever. There still has to be some accountability. There's certain things you should or shouldn't put in your body, and right. CBDs, I mean, look at how that has exploded. Mm-hmm. And that's something that maybe 5 or 6, 8 years ago, you're like, oh my God, that's never going to happen. And so even some states that now it's legal to smoke marijuana.
I mean, let's be honest about it. As soon as all 50 states are legally selling it, there's going to be NBA sponsored by Rolo joints. Like, I mean, do we act like they really care or have any sort of like real character anyways? This is business. It's America. It's all about the money. And so, if that goes to the wayside, just like with gambling, we can't have gambling in sports. It would ruin the reputation and the character of the game. And hey, Jerry Jones, you can make like an extra $200 million a year with gambling.
Oh!
Hey guys, next NFL headquarters meeting, I got a couple of ideas for it. I mean, let's face it, these guys just sell their souls for cash, and so that's going to be next with marijuana. We'll have marijuana sponsorships in 20 years in the NFL. That would be a safe bet. I would take.
There are like if you go to a soccer stadium in England, you can walk up and make a bet in a sports book in the stadium. That's coming here.
Yeah, that's already been set up in some places. I think in Las Vegas they already had that set up. So, yeah, that's absolutely on the way. And, yeah, the more states that do it, whether it be online betting and all that or marijuana laws or whatever, if they can get some money out of it and squeeze out of it, just like our government, they'll do it. Let's not kid ourselves here.
Yeah, no question about it. And these owners, it's all about printing money. All right, so yesterday, Jared Butler, Coach Drew, thank you for your time on many things, from him being on the Texas Sports Hall of Fame ballot. That doesn't mean he's in. There are some really amazing names. Simone Biles is most likely going to be one of those, and there's a certain number of names that can get voted in. So that will be released at some point as far as on the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, website, tshof.org. Jared Butler made it official. I guess it was on Sunday or Monday he's turning pro. He was on with us and discussed a lot of the decision-making. There was never a doubt in my mind. No matter who anyone thought there might be, he was coming back to Baylor. There was that sliver of a chance based on, but no. Vital, Davion, Maceo, and Jared, go live and earn your living and go live a dream. Go play that. And we had a chance to visit with Baylor All-American Player of the Year and national champion Jared Butler. And some of the speculation about Jared Butler, the NBA, ended yesterday when he declared for the NBA draft, 100% committed to go chase a dream. And Jared Butler, one of the great friends of this show, joins us with Paul Craig, David Smoak on SicEm365 Radio. I know you had to kind of take your time. There's a lot of things involved here. Jared, thanks for your time. First of all, once you were able to kind of come to that decision, do you feel any sense of relief?
Oh yeah, 100%. You know, it's been a lifelong dream. You know, it wasn't like, oh, like, you know, there's some doubt as far as the decision to go to the NBA. So it's a lifelong dream. So I was super comfortable, no doubt at all, and you know, just excited.
How easy was it to make it? I mean, or was it? Did you kind of think, well, maybe I could run it back one more year?
It was definitely easier than last year. You know, we had some things that we didn't accomplish. We had some things that, you know, we just weren't able to do. And this year it felt like I kind of can't come back to Baylor in a way, just because of all the things we've accomplished. You know, there's no other things in college basketball that you can do besides win a national championship, besides win the Big 12. You know, especially so that was my rationale going into it.
Jared, just curious, like on the timing of it, why yesterday? Why was that the day that you decided to go ahead and make it public?
To me, it's a social media thing, and I kind of made the decision kind of long before I released it out on social media. So it was just kind of, I don't know. I just felt like posting it on social media was just the last thing on my mind. And, I guess it did become kind of fun. People were just like, "Oh, is he going? Is he going?" And like, I kind of already made up my mind. And so like, it was just funny the last day of school. I mean, the last day of the deadline. So that was just kind of it for sure.
Well, it almost then, in a way, in a sad way, but yet in an exhilarating and memorable way, closes the door. Four of you, Maceo, Davion, Mark Vital, and you now are on your way to the next level. What does that mean to you, especially since you guys ended the way you did with such an incredible, emphatic national championship?
Yeah, it was extremely special. I mean, I've never been a part of something like this. I mean, I've won state championships in high school. And, you know, that's very historic and very, you know, just exhilarating. But, like, winning a national championship with those guys, it was just like, man, like something I can never forget, something, you know, the relationship is bonded together for life. And it just means so much. Like, it's really, really, truly, like, just special. So, like, I don't know any other, you know, winning an NBA championship might be a little better, but I doubt that.
How did you guys build the bond between, particularly the four of you that are leaving now? How did that bond build and stay so strong in a sport that sometimes it's not easy to build bonds about, you know, who gets the ball more, who's the guy who takes the shot? And it seemed with this team that didn't matter. It was just who's open.
Yeah, I think as a team collectively, I think we've all internally. Not so much always out loud, but we all had this one goal that, you know, no matter what, we had to win. You know, if we accomplish our goals as a team, then all of us would individually receive, you know, the goals that we wanted in our lives. And that was like a underlined, unspoken rule that we kind of had for the team. And for all these guys who, you know, are all high caliber players, like that's a hard thing to do. Especially when you're talking about, you know, just business and, you know, making sure your stock rises and making sure you get where you want to be. Like, that's a hard thing to do, to humble yourself sometimes in different situations. And everybody on the team had to do that. And I think that just speaks to the character of all the guys.
Jared, you said you'd had your mind made up for a while. What was the conversation or the, you know, time like in telling Coach Drew and perhaps even the rest of the staff that you were, you know, you were sure about going the NBA route?
Coach Drew was definitely excited. He felt like, you know, Jared, I'm gonna miss you, but it's time to go. You know, I guess so. Like they were all, you know, comforting and wanted me to go and go to the next step. So, you know, they were all supportive 100%.
When you look at who Baylor has coming back, and you know they've added some more pieces to the puzzle to try to, it's going to be hard, almost impossible to replace some of what you guys brought to the table. But you know who's coming in. You know who also waited their turn, who might now have more minutes. What are your thoughts about what they have coming back for 21-22?
Yeah, I think they have a great combination of talent and experience. Obviously, with the high-level recruits coming in, and I think that adds a little bit of talent. But I think the experience with, Jonathan, Flo, Matt, and Adam, that's going to be, unprecedented. And the guys that are coming in new, they're going to have to almost hold on to that and use that as a guidance tool throughout the whole process. And but at the same time, they're going to need talent. They're going to need guys to fill roles that they filled last year. And but I think we got a great combination. And I think just highly talented, high character dudes, and that's all you need. And a lot of guys also know what it takes to win. So I think they're going to be really good next year. I have no doubt about it.
Are there guys among that group that can step into the leadership roles that are vacated by the four of you?
Oh, for sure. I think Adam is going to be an All-American type guy. I think Jonathan is going to, go to another level. He just with his work ethic. I think Flo is going to become extremely high-level leader. I think LJ is going to step up big time. Those are the guys I know for sure. And then you got guys like James Akinjo, who's, experienced college player, who's going to be able to help fill in just productivity. And I think the freshmen can do a great job of just adding a different flavor to the team as well.
Jared, what has the NBA told you about your game? Have you had a chance to kind of nibble a little bit? I know you had to get some feedback from them a year ago. What have they told you, if anything?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for them was the fact that, I went back to school and I worked on all the things that they said I need to work on. You know what I mean? They said I need to increase my shooting percentage and, what I shoot from the floor. They need to I need to be better at defense. I need to become more athletic. And I think I've worked well in all those facets of my game. Like I won all Big 12 defense. I've dunked more times than I ever did. I didn't dunk before. I'm dunking, down the lane. And, my shooting percentages was 47% from the field. Like all those things was things that they wanted me to work on. And, they were just, the fact that I did that was something that they were really intrigued by. For sure.
The NBA Combine, I believe, is the 21st to the 26th. What else do you think that they're going to want to know about you?
That's a great question. I think maybe just want to get to know me a little more, just as a professional. And I think that's probably the biggest thing they're probably looking forward to.
When you look at your career, what else could you have accomplished other than winning 2 in a row? Really,
yeah.
All the awards, all the things. I know it wasn't Player of the Year, but you were in that conversation. What else could you have accomplished that you didn't?
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, I don't think there's anything else. And besides that, like, I think the relationships I have with the team and my teammates is just like I don't think they could have got any better than that. That's why it's so easy to make this decision. And man, it's just I'm just so lucky that I had this situation in my life. You know what I mean?
What are you going to miss the most about Baylor and Waco?
I love how different Waco is and how people are just like, oh, what's down there in Waco? Like, what's so special about Waco? Like all y'all are just a bunch of Christians down there in that little bubble of what's so special about it. And, for me, it was just a place where I was able to grow, as a man. And like, I felt like everybody in the community was supportive of that. I think the team obviously was just phenomenal, but just the whole place in general, it was a place where I can grow, substantially. And it was just a place I can always call home. So that's what I'm going to miss the most.
Jared Butler, I hate to say that, former Baylor All-American guard with us on SicEm365 Radio.
Jared, when we talked to Davey on a couple of weeks ago about his decision, I'd asked him about, coming back on campus and how important that was for him to be around the way that we know a lot of the other veterans when you guys were playing were around y'all as well. Is that important to you to give back to the program and be around when you can be around?
Yeah, I think so. I know just from a player's point of view, knowing that the guys that were there before you genuinely care about your success and genuinely care about your improvement, like that did a lot for me. Like Tweety Carter, Tall T, those guys were that for me. And, that just creates a conducive environment for life. Like, just people that care about you. And, for me, I'm always going to care about Baylor's success. Like I'm, try to watch as many Baylor games as I can. And, I'm a Baylor guy for life. So like anything I can do to help the success of, Coach Drew and the staff and the team, like that's what I'm willing to do just because of how special it was for me. So like, I want to pass it on. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's awesome that it's just kind of giving back. Now, when you look at the names of players in Baylor men's basketball history from back when they were even a team that got to a Final Four in the late 40s, they've had others, though. Vinnie Johnson, Terry Teagle. There's a lot of guys that are spread out throughout the NBA or are playing overseas in Europe. Does not include Davion Mitchell, Maceo Teague, Mark Beidel, and Jared Butler. Do you think much about where you guys are or where you individually are among the greatest players in Baylor men's basketball history?
That's a great question. Do I think about it? The first thing that comes to mind in our practice, and there's like a wall of people that been drafted, and then there's this picture like Vinnie Johnson and Isaiah Austin and Torian Prince, their picture of them getting drafted, and that's the first thing that comes to mind because I remember days in the practice and looking at them being like, yeah, that's where I want to be, and it's just a cool thing to say like I'm headed in that direction, and so yeah, I think about it a little bit, but I think even more so, like I want to be one of those guys that a player can call and give advice. You know what I'm saying about the next steps, about what to worry about and what to not worry about. So that's my thing.
Jared, when you moved from Alabama, when you transferred from Alabama to Baylor, Baylor gave you an opportunity. Alabama wasn't ready to do that. Have you talked much about what the NBA has said to you about your health and clearance?
Yeah, I would just, I would say yeah. And, I'm feeling 100% comfortable with what's going on. And, yeah, that's about it.
Well, when you look at what you've accomplished, you've proven a lot of people wrong. You said when you arrived on campus, you weren't sure whether or not this team could ever play, although the dream was to play for a national championship. How do you describe now that now you're to this day what you've been through?
How do I describe it? When people talk about like success stories and winning, big things and winning Super Bowls and winning, NBA championships, like I think like now, like I can consider myself in that category. Like I feel confident enough and confident in my abilities as a person and as a basketball player to be a part of something special. I have that DNA in me to be a part of something that's greater than me, to impact people all across the world. And so like that's now what I can think about and reflect on is how special that I can be and how much impact I can make on the world. And I think that's what it's all about. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. How much did it help that you also then were asked to even represent athletes around the country in the NCAA with what your experience was like?
Yeah, that was a big honor too. And, I think hopefully what I put into place and my voice in that committee was headed in the right direction, whatever I said. But that was also a big honor too. And, it's something I can see myself doing and something I feel like I can do just because, I'm around it and I hear the opinions and I know what it's like.
What will you do the next time you see any of the coaches that help you get to where you are today?
It's always a big laugh and big hug, and we're a big hug team, and that's about it. And then more than likely 100% we're going to talk about the national championship, and then they're going to talk about how much we miss each other, and that's something that binds us together. So I think that's for sure going to happen.
Jared, if you don't mind, to wrap it up with this, do you understand what you mean to Baylor overall, to Baylor Nation, what you guys set, not just the championship? Yeah, that was the icing on the cake or whatever you want to say. But do you understand what you guys meant to that university?
No, I don't think I'll ever be able to grasp it for sure. But I do appreciate the words of just overall, just great role model, things like that, great ambassador, great representative. Those words kind of mean a lot more, and I think that can stick to me a lot more just because, you want to be a good influence. You want to be a great influence to people, and that says a lot to me, and I don't think I'll ever grasp it, us winning a national championship, all that stuff, but, hopefully us being great people would last more, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. What will it be like when your name is ever introduced, or when it's introduced as a guy playing for somebody in the NBA?
That would be crazy. Lifelong dream, like I said. It's just amazing, and it'll just give me an opportunity to take care of my family, play the game I love as an occupation. That's what people dream of doing, and it's just my job to make sure I take the most out of the opportunity, and just be grateful every day because it's something that I've worked for, it's something that I've put the time in to do, and it'll be bittersweet for sure because it's like, dang, I get to the NBA, like, oh, I hear my name called, but I still have a ton of work to do. I just can't I'm looking forward to it, and basketball has just been so tremendous to me. So.
Yeah, and you've been tremendous to basketball. Go live that dream, Jared. We appreciate you so many different times. Hope to get you again a little bit later on, but go live the dream. Congratulations on your decision, and go get what else is in your life.
No, I appreciate it, and I thank y'all for being so just great reporters. There's a lot of the bad ones, and thank y'all for being the good ones and having me on and encouraging us and covering us. So I appreciate that a lot.
Thank you. You have been accessible. That means a lot. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Jared Butler. And yeah, he's a good dude, man. He is somebody, some of the responses when his interview was up on the site yesterday evening is that he's as good an ambassador for Baylor as anyone right now. And, there was a discussion about who's been the best athlete, former 50 years ago or now, as an ambassador of Baylor. Robert Griffin III was in that conversation, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say the ambassador side of it, yeah, absolutely. He put Baylor, Robert Griffin III is number one. Mm-hmm. He's number one. And I don't think it's really even a close number two, quite frankly. When you think about the entire flip was switched not because of Art Briles or because of wins. It was to an extent, but it was really flipped when Robert won the Heisman and showed a dude from Baylor can win the Heisman and win games and compete, and then they got better and better from there. So, yeah, that's number one. And then he obviously carried that torch and still does, joins the show with us and talks about Baylor, talks to the quarterbacks and mentors them. And so, yeah, but no, Jared is definitely going to be right up there near the top without a doubt.
No question about it, and wish him the best of luck. All right, we got a couple of things here to get to. We'll have John Machota, theathletic.com, and the Cowboys working on tomorrow's guest list with Paul and Craig. They'll be here. I'll be out Thursday through Monday and back on Tuesday. This is SicEm365 Radio. So I'm sitting here looking at Marco's Pizza, trying to order Armstrong something to eat so he'll continue to produce the damn show. And, he'll have everybody else in the studio hint that he's hungry, but won't he himself say something to me? So I'm about to order something. Then you got specials. You get like two topping pizzas, plus you can get some garlic bread or maybe even some dippers or wings. And I'm going to do that because Marco's Pizza, one of the sponsors of this show, will deliver right here to our studio, 101 Elm. And oh, by the way, those who deliver, they're looking for more of you. Those who can work inside the restaurant, they're looking for more of you. All you have to do is suggest a name to somebody at Marco's Pizza, locations in China Spring, Woodway, and or Belmead. And if you find somebody that they hire and they work 100 hours or more when they're there, not consecutively, you're going to get a $100 gift card from Marco's Pizza. Thanks to Bob Mock and the great people at Marco's Pizza. Marcos.com, order a pizza online. They'll deliver it. You can pick it up, and it's really good. Believe me, trust Armstrong. That's where he tells me to call, who he tells me to call, at marcospizza.com.
With more than 160,000 alumni worldwide and counting, the Baylor family is growing. And through the university's expanded Baylor alumni program, the family is growing closer. With hundreds of local volunteers planning events in cities and towns around the country, you can gather with fellow Bears no matter where you are. So, get connected, get something started, get involved, and make plans to get together with Baylor alumni. Visit us at baylor.edu/alumni.
Allen Samuels is holding the Ram Spotlight event on the new 2021 Ram Lone Star Crew Cab trucks at Allen Samuels. The three-peat Motor Trend Truck of the Year is built to serve. This truck is perfect for whatever your lifestyle calls for. Impressive towing, high-strength steel frame, and the smoothest, most comfortable ride of any truck. Allen Samuels located at 201 West Loop 340 in Waco. Come see the Ram Lone Star Crew Cab. The Ram Spotlight event won't last long. Visit Allen Samuels today or online at allensamuelsdcj.com.
Come by. Let's be friends.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be part of the Waco community. We're a small family business here in Central Texas. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important. And unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. And that's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through this difficult time. So if you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. You can schedule online in minutes at idealmri.com or call 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness was built to help give you a chance to enjoy elite tennis facilities and also remain fit or reshape your body. Now Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness has gone through its own physical changes. There are 7 large flat screens stretched across the main and improved weight room with Wi-Fi available and their own app to enjoy news, business, weather, or sports channels. The beautiful sound of active treadmills and elliptical machines, group exercise classes throughout each day, a new ballet bar for bar classes, a new look lounge and bar with beer and wine with more large flat screens available. Touchless water fountains outside each spacious men's and women's locker rooms, showers, sauna, and whirlpool. Upgraded PA system throughout the world-class tennis courts and lessons for adults and juniors. I promise you'll look and feel better. You just need to walk through the front door. Also, Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness with personal trainers Christy London and Randall Corley. 40-plus group exercise classes, including twice-a-week boot camp. So start today, not tomorrow, at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lakeshore Drive in Waco.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
It was broad daylight. I stepped into a gas station for 5 minutes to grab a snack, and just like that, my car was broken into. They made out like a bandit. My laptop, my phone, everything. I called my agent to see what could be done, and he restored my faith in humanity. My claim was processed so quickly, and I was able to recover my losses.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
This is SicEm365 Radio. Text us at 254-339-1122. The SicEm365 Radio text line is sponsored by Riverbend Liquor and Wine, with the most extensive variety of craft beer in Waco. A hidden gem on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street.
All right, wrapping up this 4 o'clock hour, John Machota, theathletic.com, will join us in a little bit. The Mavericks, we haven't said much about it. We mentioned Moon Urson transferring to LSU. Scott Drew, part of the Texas Sports Hall of Fame ballot. Mavericks and Clippers tonight.
I don't have any faith in the Mavericks anymore.
Has Kristaps Porzingis?
No, he's terrible.
I didn't even ask the question.
I'll just tell you, has he been good or has he disappointed?
Who did they trade for him?
I can't even remember.
I really wish you would ask me this during a break instead of just spontaneously. I don't remember off the top of my head now.
It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
Whoever they traded for him, do you feel like they have any kind of, Paul, if you got that, any kind of because he was a missing part, you would think. But here's what
DeAndre Jordan, Wesley Matthews, and Dennis Smith Jr.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the Dennis Smith one was the key piece.
That
there,
was the number one pick they had, right?
That really doesn't look that bad in hindsight. I mean, I don't know what you guys are saying because Kristaps Porzingis is very good. The problem is he's not been very good here in these playoffs. He had a bad game, had a bad couple games in a row, but there is no denying that he's a difference maker when he's on. Problem is he's not on. So, like I said earlier, they're missing boatloads of free throws, including Luka Doncic, and that's just unacceptable. And
How
that game
in the
other
world does he do that?
I don't know.
I think it's almost a concentration, like he thinks they're boring.
I don't know. Maybe he's just like Shaq and just doesn't care. I have no idea. I have no idea how a guy who can shoot one-legged threes at a whim, on a whim, cannot shoot from the free throw line with nobody guarding him. It doesn't make any sense. No, it just doesn't make any sense. And so I can't explain that. But Kristaps, when he's at the top of his game, yeah, they're very formidable. But he hasn't been, and they haven't played great defense. They haven't shot well the last couple games. I mentioned the free throw line already. That cost them several points the other night when that game started to really get out of control, or even in the comeback on Friday night. Like, make some free throws, and maybe that turns out differently. But yeah, they're in a bad place. All that mojo they had in games 1 and 2, they were shooting lights out, and everything was going well. And this is so first take and all of that. Everybody was calling this series over when it was 2-0, and that was such BS. This series was never over at 2-0. I don't care that they won 2 games in Los Angeles. Let's not act like Dallas is some impossible place to play. And look, the Clippers went and just took 2 like it was like taking candy from a baby, basically. So I never felt comfortable at 2-0. I felt much better about their chances, but I didn't feel like the series was over by any means. And here we are at 2-2. So home court is flipped now. And if they lose this series, they have no one to blame but themselves. I mean, the Clippers have been shooting very, very well. And when the Clippers are shooting well, there's not really a whole lot you can do about that. Mm-hmm. But, something's got to give. They got to go back to the drawing board in some form or fashion because what we've seen the last couple games is just not cutting it. And I don't expect the Clippers to cool off. And if you're banking on a team just having an off night shooting as your key to victory, well, that's not going to work either. So there's some changes that got to be made. I don't know exactly what those are. That's for Rick Carlisle to figure out and his staff. And we'll see tonight kind of which version of the Mavs, the game 1 and 2 Mavs or the game 3 and 4 Mavs. And you could also say that about the Clippers. They were a different team these last couple games.
I questioned whether or not they had bought into Kawhi Leonard and what he was supposedly brought. Again, he was born into a Spurs dynasty, but he was a part of a championship. And also, you think that he had a little bit to do with what Toronto did because he brought them some of that toughness. And they're a very talented team when they won the title. But he was the guy. He was the alpha. And then with the Clippers, you thought perhaps he would bring the same thing. It's hard to win championships. What the Spurs did and others have done when they reel off a handful. But you know what? They showed a little moxie. Or maybe the Mavericks showed immaturity. I don't know what it is. But Kawhi took over the series.
I mean, anybody down Kawhi, he's won titles at 2 different places. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He brought a world championship to Toronto. So, again, they go down 2-0, all of a sudden, Kawhi is this and Kawhi is that, or, whatever the case may be. It's just first take,
I don't think
man.
I ever did.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about, the general reaction is this series is over, and it clearly was not, but that's what you got to do to rile up people and get the reaction, because it's all about the reaction now. And so let's say something outlandish and get the reaction, even though we know it's not true. And so then when it turns around, it's not a surprise in any way because the Clippers are a good team. Now let's flip our opinion and let's go with the extreme reaction. So now it's going to be is Luka not close? You know what I'm saying? It's just one thing to the next. Blows. It's just whatever reaction. And I know that's part of the deal. It's not a part, though, that I enjoy. And it's a part that I see through quite a bit. So that's why a lot of this nonsense when they went up 2-0, I was just filtering it out because it's this series is so far from over. And now look at us. It's 2-2. And all right. And they're not even, possessing any type of momentum at the moment.
And who knows who wins tonight because nobody's won a game at home. One other quick note. I know we got to come back in John Machota. Denzel Mims. What's the knock on him? If there was one even at Baylor.
I would say that he's not the toughest person in the world.
Yeah, he seemed like there's always something. And that was a concern. Today at Jets OTA, there's a big, huge whatever that is on my screen. And
they're growing. They must be growing now.
Not spotted.
Armstrong.
Denzel Mims in the rehab area. And then, of course, the responses to Rich Cimini was, again, that's where he spends a lot of his time. Remember what Bill Parcells used to say, and he's a hell of an athlete, hell of a player, but I always thought his body was big and he would be powerful and strong. And at times at Baylor, he probably played through some pain. But that is the knock, and he was not. Again, it's OTA.
Well, they signed Corey Davis in free agency for a lot of money. They drafted Elijah Moore in the second round at Ole Miss. And again,
Jamison Crowder.
They have Jamison Crowder. So again, they're trying to build options for Zach Wilson, and hopefully Denzel is one of those guys.
Denzel has a giant opportunity in front of him, and I hope he takes advantage of it. And I hope that we see the senior year Denzel Mims that was able to tough it out a bit more. Now, like you said, it's OTAs. So if you got anything you can kind of linger in, why go out there and risk it? But no, he had injuries last year as well. And so, you got to cut that out. I mean, not blaming him entirely because it happens in a physical game, but that staying on the sidelines and doing that's a really quick way to get your butt cut. Ask Corey Coleman.
All right, when we come back, John Machota, theathletic.com. Paul, do the Cowboys have another OTA coming up? Is that right?
I believe so, yeah.
We'll discuss that with him, a couple of other notes as well. This is Sic'em365 Radio.
Lance Donaldson is a local realtor with a unique perspective. I believe Smoak, you met him the other night at Bosqueville graduation. He mentioned it to me when I saw him. He is someone, if you are in this crazy housing market right now, and it's a crazy market, you're going to need somebody with guidance, somebody who's going to have a steady hand, somebody who's going to help you relax because it can be stressful. Well, Lance can do that. Lance is a fun guy to talk to and hang out with, and he's going to be great to look at houses. He's going to help you navigate through all that crazy stuff that's going on that you need to do in a market like this. So give him a call, 254-214-3713. If you're looking to buy and looking to sell, Lance can get you a great price on the home you're selling, and he's going to find that dream home for you and your family. Just go to his website, lancedonaldson.exprealty.com, and you can see all of the cool properties that he has listed, all the things he has listed, and just call him and find out what he's all about. 254-214-3713 or online at lancedonaldson.exprealty.com.
Car has the trucks, man. They have the one for you. Crew cab, short or long bed, silver, black or blue. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, he has the truck for you. Carr has the trucks, man. He has the truck you need. If you want the best truck, you want a GMC. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, they have the truck for you.
At Marco's Pizza, get craveable pizza made the Italian way with dough made from scratch, an original sauce recipe, 3 fresh signature cheeses, and premium toppings you love, served hot and safe. Right now, you can get unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Why stop at just one? Order with your app or at marcos.com for curbside, carryout, or delivery today. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
You want to know why Stonewood Dental is so successful? Listen to what happy customers have to say.
It's pleasant. It's different than any other dentist office. I really feel like they care. And it's not that you're here for 2 hours waiting on someone to take care of you. It's quick and easy, and I bring my kids, and my kids love being here too. They really love the treasure box. Staff is really nice and accommodating, real friendly. You feel more like home. It's not sterile looking. Everybody has their own personalized rooms with decorations and decor, and they'll even have a blanket for you when it's cold. I've recommended people to actually come here, and they are patients now. I really love it here. It feels like family.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
Stepping into a new pair of boots is great, but stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can also add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. There are more than 150 occupational specialties to help them find the best fit for their future. See all the things your son or daughter can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543. Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trusted doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. It's time for our weekly segment with John Machota of The Athletic. Brought to you by Pioneer Steel and Pipe, where customer service is their main focus. And best in metal, steel, and pipe for large or small projects. With 2 locations in Waco and Bryan. Family owned and operated since 1943.
Here's Elliott. He will get it. Touchdown Dallas as Elliott fought for it and has his 6th of the year.
The 5 o'clock hour is sponsored by Edward Jones Investments with financial advisor Brad Wilson. Investing is time and experience back to you and your money during today's changing times. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
5 o'clock hour. Thanks to Scott Drew from earlier today. Also, David Anderson, Bosqueville High School baseball coach, among Mitch Thompson. MCC plays tonight. We're joined by John Machota. TheAthletic.com covers the Cowboys and with us on Wednesdays in the 5 o'clock hour. So, John, I think COVID not only blew a lot of people's minds on what exists and what doesn't. So they had an OTA, and they're about to have another one. Is this a string of them? And I should, of course, have updated myself on this. Is it like a second one, then there's a break, and then there's a mini camp? Tell us what goes on between now and training camp.
Yeah, so this is actually like a second week of OTA practice, but we only get 1 day of availability. So basically, tomorrow we'll get a chance to go out there and then talk to Mike McCarthy, talk to some players. And then the following week, they'll have some availability for mini camp, and then after next week, that's it. For the veterans, I should say, because then for an additional following week after that, they're going to still have like a rookie be around the facility to more like a rookie orientation type thing, which is a new thing. They hadn't done that in the past under Jason Garrett, and they certainly didn't do it last year during COVID. So, but no, after next week, the veterans are off until training camp starts. And so, and it's just such a strange schedule because we have a good idea that we feel pretty confident they're going to go to California, but that hasn't been finalized, and there certainly have not been any dates that have been finalized. So that stuff's all kind of up in the air in terms of planning. Now, I will say this, I do believe that they will be there in California and we'll be out there, but that stuff hasn't been figured out yet. So 2 more weeks of this stuff, and then there'll be a little bit of a break.
Well, and the league had their protocols, right, that they've submitted for training camp and the season, but none of that is for what the media would have to do, right?
It's really not. I mean, that's still like kind of a work in progress. I mean, as of right now, they could technically allow us to be out there to watch practices in California, but not be able to grab players off the field or talk to players face to face, where they could turn it into where that's just like a kind of a press conference setting, where either we do it over like a Zoom type thing, or they do it kind of out on those tennis courts where they just bring a couple of players up and media members have to stay in the chairs or whatever like that. But frankly, for me, I'll take any access that they're going to give us as long as we get to go out to California.
So, John, I know that there was a report out there today that the Cowboys are not interested in trading Leighton Vander Esch. Is that correct? And has that even come as much of a surprise? Is that already what you had sort of figured out at this point anyways?
No, yeah. I mean, with that being said, yeah, they're not interested in trading Leighton Vander Esch at probably the current price that would be being offered, like some kind of like a late round pick, which a team's not going to offer much more than that for a guy. They didn't, this is his final year of his rookie contract. They can sign him in the offseason if they want to, because the Cowboys didn't extend the 5th-year option on his rookie deal. So, yeah, if some team wanted to give like a first-round pick, I think the Cowboys would listen, especially after what they just did in the draft at linebacker. But no, I mean, everything that I've gathered from behind the scenes and what I've heard is that they want him still here long term. They need him to prove that he can stay healthy. But if he's healthy, they like the player and they want the player on the team. They really want to see what he can do this year if he can stay healthy for a full 17-game season. And if that's the case, then yeah, they would gladly re-sign him. It's not like they have any issues with the player on the field. It's just is this going to be Sean Lee all over again, where he just, as good as the player is, he just can't stay on the field. So if he can show that he is, they're going to offer, they're going to try and keep. Now he might get a better offer from another team, and if that's the case, well, then you have Jabril Cox and Micah Parsons and Jalen Smith and some other guys that you can potentially add. But no, if he's willing to stay in Dallas, they would like to have him if he can stay healthy.
John, of the players that are back, those who are, whether it's an elite name, a DeMarcus Lawrence, Ezekiel Elliott, or if it's even a Jalen Smith or someone else, who, in your opinion, if you had to pick 2 or 3 names, and obviously you want your better players to all have better years, but must get better from where they were a year ago?
Yeah, I think I did an article on The Athletic earlier this week on just like 10 players that absolutely have to step up this year and elevate their game from last year. And for me, the top 2 guys are one on offense and one on defense. And on defense, it's DeMarcus Lawrence. He's an outstanding all-around player, and he does a lot more than what shows up on the stat sheet. But they need that from him. But they also need the sack numbers. They need the quarterback pressures. They need the quarterback hits. Like, those numbers have to be better than last year. He has to be double-digit sacks. He's got to be 20-plus quarterback hits. He's got to be an elite pass rusher again for this defense to elevate itself to where it needs to be. And then on offense, it's Ezekiel Elliott. And that's just because, like, just asking you guys, can you imagine a season where Ezekiel Elliott has a good year and the Cowboys don't win? Like, it hasn't happened. I mean, and not just Ezekiel Elliott, but I mean, you can go DeMarco Murray, you go Emmitt Smith. I mean, when they have a good season from their running back, they're going to be in good shape. And so if he has a big year, a bounce back year from last year, not only producing on the field, I mean, they need the bigger runs. They need more explosive plays out of him. There's no question about that. But maybe even more than that, they need him to take care of the ball. They can't have the 6 fumbles. They can't have him being the leading the league in fumbles amongst running backs. I mean, he has to elevate his game too. And if he does that, that's going to lead to wins. I mean, after Dak, to me, the most important player is Ezekiel Elliott. That'll tell you exactly how good this team's going to be. And if he has a big year, I think it's a big year for the Cowboys.
What happened with Malik Hooker, and how did that come back up again, given how many one-year deals the Cowboys have used on that safety position? It wouldn't seem to me like they'd really want to add another one, does it?
No, I think it was the whole time, I think it was going to come down to they were going to bring in a few safeties, and it was going to probably be some guys that had some injury history. And obviously it was going to be guys that they only wanted to sign on 1-year deals. And so that really, just giving you those parameters, it was going to limit you to who you were going to bring in. So that was during the time when they brought in Devontae KZ. They bring in Hooker. At the time we thought Keanu Neal was a safety. So they signed Neal and KZ. And I think the difference between KZ and Malik Hooker, it was going to be one or the other. And they both are coming off injuries. And seeing KZ out there last week on the field during OTA shows you that he has to be at least on track, if not ahead of a schedule with where he is with his Achilles. So I think that's what happened. It came down to the medical side of it. And then also probably helped out that, DeMonte KZ's obviously played with Dan Quinn. And so it came down to those 2 guys. And here's the thing, like, kind of goes back to even like last year. Look at like how long it went before Everson Griffin was signed, and we've seen it before with J.D. and Clowney, and how long it took before he was signed. Generally, when all these teams are kind of waiting, like how many of those guys really pan out to have this just huge year when they're not signed until late in free agency? I mean, generally the free agents that go to new teams that make an impact right away are usually added in March. So it's not necessarily just a Cowboys thing. I think there's plenty of teams that would be like, hey, I would like to have a guy that could possibly pick off 5-6 passes on the back end of our defense, but there's got to be some other concern there. And much like with Earl Thomas, his is obviously off the field concerns, but with Malik Hooker not being signed by anybody, it's pretty clear that there's got to be some questions about the medical side with him.
Well, yesterday was June 1st, and we have not seen a flurry of things happen yet. Do you expect some stuff around the league to start to happen? Not particularly the Cowboys, but just, big moves going on?
If anything, I would say I look at the quarterbacks, like, guys that are up for contracts, like Lamar Jackson, guys like that could potentially get a new deal. And the reason why I say that is because this would be the time of year you get something like that done. And now that Dak's contract's in place, now it falls in place for those next guys to kind of, okay, who's going to be the next quarterback? And it'll be probably a number that surpasses Dak. And so that would be the next big deal there that I could see in terms of contract. But I'm still not completely sold on Aaron Rodgers staying with the Packers and Julio Jones staying with the Falcons. And so I could see in the next month at least one of those two guys being traded somewhere else. I think Julio Jones is the much more likely one, but the Aaron Rodgers thing is not going away. So I would say those would be the bigger moves. In terms of the Cowboys, though, I don't see any, unless they, just had like in the next few days a rash of injuries at a certain position where they just had to, sign a body or something. Then yeah, maybe they do that. But just from being at rookie minicamp and OTAs, they're not doing anything that should lead to any type of injuries, and especially with any of their players that have been anywhere near coming off an injury or surgery or anything last season. Those guys are really not doing much at all. I mean, it's really all about getting to that first day of training camp. And I think as of where they are right now, the Cowboys are pretty happy with their rosters. That the only position that I think they'd like to upgrade is backup quarterback. And it just doesn't appear that there's an option out there that they really love more than Garrett Gilbert at this point.
When you draft somebody in the first round or second round, you probably expect them to start, or at some point, if you're a high first round pick, you're going to be a Pro Bowler, maybe all pro. And anything other than that, I don't know. But is Jabril Cox, who falls to the fourth round, did he fall to the fourth round, and why did he fall to the fourth round? Was it because he didn't play but 1 year at a Power 5? Because North Dakota State can beat about 90%, 50% of the Power 5s, if not more.
Yeah, for sure. I'll say just from, and again, I haven't broken down his tape, but just from the things I've read and seen and heard about him, I think that there's probably still a little bit, there's always going to be, if you're going to fall like that, there's going to be some questions about your game. And for him, I think that he stacks up well in the passing game, and maybe that he just wasn't the complete player when it comes down to the, being a three-down linebacker that you can have on the field at all times. If you're not that guy, teams aren't going to take linebackers in the first couple of rounds because the value really isn't there. Micah Parsons is a guy, Leighton Vander Esch, Jalen Smith are guys that should never come off the field. I don't know that Cox is looked at as being like a three-down linebacker right now. Now, he might be that, and maybe he would have been that if, let's say, he played the last 4 years at LSU as opposed to just the last 1 year. But, yeah, there's no question that had to factor in, because it wasn't like it was some secret that only the Cowboys liked him. I mean, that was a guy going throughout the third round. Most people were still saying, I can't believe this guy's out here. And then you fall to the end of the third round, you're still out there. I mean, it was clear he was one of the best players available, and the Cowboys seriously considered him at the end of the third round or with one of their third round picks, and probably would have taken him with one of their third round picks if they would have had a corner in the first round, But, after taking Micah Parsons, they weren't going to sit there and take another linebacker with one of those third round picks. So he was there in the fourth, and he might end up being, a future starter. I mean, they found Damian Wilson there. They found Anthony Hitchens in the fourth. I mean, just because you win in the fourth round doesn't mean you can't be a starter, especially on this defense.
No question. Thank you, John. Appreciate it. John Machota, theathletic.com, with us on Wednesdays in the 5 o'clock hour. A couple of notes to get back to, and open up the text to you as well. Some of the texts we have not read, if there are, 254-339-1122. I saw this note. This is from Texas Sports Lab. I don't know who that is, but, again, it's
it's a random lists. It's a person just making lists. That's all it is. It's just a person making
So let's
a list.
make our own. All right? When we come back, and we need your feedback on this in the text line, and what?
No, it's just this is the account that I keep seeing, and I'm trying to think of who keeps. I think it's Drake. This is the reason why I keep seeing this account, because he loves.
Because he put Drake on a list of best follows.
Oh, well, there you go.
So, there you go. He chummed the water.
I have never seen this site that I can think of, or at least I've never seen it where it's registered with me, and now I see it all the time, and it's like a different poll every day. Or no, it's not even a poll. It's not even a poll. It's like just whoever this person is, this Texas Sports Life, they do these rankings. So it was like best college towns, and it was best tailgate scene, and it was best new coaches. It's like every single thing you could possibly rank, they are ranking. And yeah, Drake's the reason why I've seen this account so much. But now that starts to make more sense with what Paul said. No, go ahead. It's first discussion.
It's worth discussion.
No. I mean, I didn't know who they were.
No, I'm not saying that I'm just saying that's how I know who these people are, is because I think Drake's the one that's probably got it in my timeline so much.
Top 10 college football coaches for the 2021 season. Let's come back. You give us your top 5 or 10. But you have to do it on text or call us, 254-339-1122, or on Twitter, at Craig Smoak, at Paul Catalina, at David Smoak, at Sic'em365 Radio, any of those. Armstrong Sim and his fan club Twitter account.
And we'll give you a little bit of help here. It's not just Division I.
It's across the board at any level, from junior college coaches to Division III to Division II to FCS to FBS, all across the board in Texas. Give us your top 5 of the college football coaches for 2021. Now, it's hard to do because some of them haven't coached in Texas. Like, for example, Steve Sarkisian. That doesn't mean he can't be your 2, 3, or 4, or 9, or 1. I don't know. 254-339-1122, your top 5 college football coaches in the state of Texas as we enter the 2021 season. SicEm365 Radio.
Richard Carr, Buick GMC Cadillac. They've got great deals going on right now with savings events. Man, it seems like every few weeks. And here recently, it's been the Memorial Day savings event. Hopefully you've taken advantage. And if not, make sure you go and take advantage right now. We've got travel happening, at the pace it's supposed to be happening as we kind of open things back up. So with travel now back and us all not stuck in our homes, the savings are also back at Richard Carr. Get back on the road with the sophistication and luxury of a Buick. You can get it. Buick SUV, they're loaded with them on the lot right now, all priced to move. For example, $5,900 off at 2021 Buick Encore. You can save $4,500 on Encore GXs. You can save $3,900 on midsize Buick Envisions. They also have the Buick Enclave, a perfect family travel vehicle with space, luxury, and affordability. It's got 3 rows of first-class seating and a smooth, quiet ride. Right now, save $8,500 on all 2021 Buick Enclaves in stock. And they're also loaded with premium pre-owned cars and trucks. All pre-owned cars and trucks are priced to move during the savings event, with multiple cars priced under $200 a month for qualified buyers. And, of course, Richard Carr Motors is your local Waco family dealer. They take pride in serving their neighbors and want to earn your business with great prices, free oil changes, and superior service after the sale. So drop by their clean and disinfected showroom to take a test drive, or let them bring the test drive to you. It's the Memorial Day savings event going on all month at Richard Carr.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible and rewarding challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like our free First mobile app, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. That's the First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Did you know that 1 out of every 4 men have symptomatic low levels of testosterone and don't even know it? And if you think you're too young to worry about it, guess again. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, cause weight gain, and wreak havoc on your sexual desire and performance. Petty Clinic Low T can set up same-day blood screening and results, so if you're tired of being tired, I challenge you to man up and Google search Low T Waco or go online pettycliniclowt.com. It's a private clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Affordable, only $150 a month, includes lab work, office consultation, testosterone injections, follow-up visits, compared to $395 a month in Dallas or Austin, and you don't have to fight the traffic. Petty Clinic Low T is board-certified physician consultations, will provide the best form of brand-strength testosterone available. Contact Petty Clinic Low T today, just off Highway 84 and Old Hewitt Drive in Woodway. Petty Clinic Low T, helping men become the high-performance men they deserve to be. PettyClinicLowT.com or Google search Low T Waco.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? by not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference, and that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs, too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. Are you a SicEm365 superfan? Then try out our premium subscriptions at SicEm365.com.
All right, so the upcoming 2021 season. Let's start by doing this. Jack, you have a mic available if Hayden's is open. It does not. Okay, Armstrong, I know you do. Craig's on his way back in. Paul Catalina, David Smoak, SicEm365 Radio. All right, Paul, let's build a list before we actually say which is the top, 10. All right, so you have, in Division I, who would make this list as a possibility that's up for the best college football coach in the state of Texas? We'll start with the FBS. Gary Patterson?
Yeah.
Yep. Jimbo Fisher.
All right. I don't think Wells, Aranda.
No.
Dykes?
Yes.
Yeah, Sonny Dykes, yeah.
Okay. Sarkisian?
No. I mean,
to be determined?
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
I don't think you can, you can rank Dave Aranda based on a very small sample size.
But it would be hard.
There's no sample. I mean, because if you, is Steve Sarkisian on this list?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course,
so
any list has to include Texas or the Cowboys.
So again, this is all based on nothing evidentiary. He's just there. Why is he there? Because he's the Texas head coach. And I'm sure he's probably ranked above guys who have actually proven stuff. Like why is he? Okay, I know you're going to go over the list, but already there's a guy we mentioned, it's Sonny Dykes, who has done way more at SMU already than Steve Sarkisian's done at Texas. So how you could put Steve Sarkisian...
He's done way more at SMU than Steve Sarkisian did at Washington.
Yeah, exactly. As a head coach in his entire career, but yet he's 2 spots higher. Why? Because the logo. That's why.
It's just like when you throw in the Cowboys logo. People...
Yeah.
All right, so Patterson, Fisher, Sonny Dykes, Sonny Dykes. How about Holgerson?
Oh yeah, I forgot about him. No, I don't think he's done. I mean, it depends on how many names we got because he could be top 10 by default.
Let's go to FCS. There's one that just won a national title, Casey Keeler, right?
Yep.
Of course, SFA's Colby Carthel. Won a national title at A&M Commerce. Yeah. He's done okay at SFA, but he hadn't been there that long. I'm just going to put him down there anyway, just off to the side. All right? Fredenberg.
Yep. Pete Fredenberg, longest tenured by a long shot.
Won 17 consecutive conference titles, had a title taken away, but you know what? He's won 2, and they probably would have been in the mix to win another one this year had they been able to get to that point. Jeff Traylor.
It's early for Jeff. We love him. I mean, early returns are positive, but I think it's early for Jeff, right?
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, I'm looking at the title of this list, and it says Top 10 College Football Coaches in Texas for the 2021 season. So that could be a million different things. That could be the top 10 to watch. That could be the top 10 who we think is going to be the best. That could be just...
No, I said, not this list, who are the top 10 college football coaches for the 2021 season?
Yeah, so, Jeff Traylor, I think he's got to be
I think they're going to be like 10-2.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be really good. So, yeah, he makes sense.
Tarleton's Todd Whitten's on this list. A&M Commerce's David Bailiff. Jesse Burleson's on this list. Let's do 5. All right, let's go to the list. The text line's available as well. And, in fact, I just saw one pop up from Scotty. Fredenberg, Keeler, Patterson, Jimbo, and Dykes. And I'm not so sure I can't walk away with that list.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good list right there. With Sam Houston just having won a national title, I think Jimbo and Gary and Sonny Dykes have to be top 5 because of what they've done. If they're not in the top 5, then it's a bogus list because those 3 have now been around long enough, even though Dykes has been, less than 5 years probably, but close to 5 years now. What he's done with SMU has been great. So definitely them, definitely Fredenberg, and then Keeler with the title, like I said, yeah. But, if it's a list on expectations or hype, then, yeah, that's a list that changes pretty quickly.
Let's do the best coaches based on what we have as knowledge, evidence, forensics.
Okay.
Entering the season.
We've got to call Brian in Tulsa. You're on SicEm365 Radio. What's your list?
Hey, guys, this is Brian, first-time caller to the show. How are y'all today?
Doing great, thank you. Appreciate it.
Good. Listen, that's my top 5 list. I'd like to address a serious concern I have with Baylor's athletic program right now. So my top 5 coaches in the state of Texas would be Pete Fredenberg of UMHB, Gary Patterson, Dave Aranda, Sonny Dykes, and Jimbo Fisher. I don't really have a particular order there. I just think those are the best 5 in the state of Texas. What do you guys think about that?
I don't know if Aranda's on the list, Brian. I mean, I think after this year we'll know more, but I don't see how he would be. That's your list, so it doesn't matter. I mean, it's your list. It doesn't matter what we think. But my opinion is I don't know how Aranda is on the list with what we have in front of us, which is 2 and 7.
Yeah,
ahead of especially some others that aren't.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just said my 5 a second ago, and I wouldn't put Aranda there. I mean, he's got potential, though, to move up, have a good year, and he could jump up a few spots in whatever ranking you're doing. So, yeah, I think it's a to-be-determined big time on him still.
Yeah. All right, Brian, knowing that I have my hand on the drop button right now, what is your big concern?
Guys, my serious concern is that Baylor does not have a collegiate Division I WWE Super Slam wrestling team like every other major university.
You're nailing it, dude.
Back can fix this. It's one of the biggest disgraces that my alma mater has no professional wrestlers. John Cena wrestled at Springfield University. Texas Wesleyan had The Undertaker. So where's the Baylor wrestler?
It's a great question, man.
It's appalling.
Hey, Laquan McGowan, I thought, would have been a guy, but I don't know if he has the personality.
No, he is not nearly tough enough, and he's way too shy. I think he would have been, a nice little side attraction type of dude, but he's just too much of a teddy bear, I think, Laquan McGowan. But it was interesting when Jim Ross isn't with WWE anymore, but he did have interest at the time when JR was with WWE, and then now he's with AEW, and I got to say, Jim Ross is...
Brian, go ahead.
He's not in great shape. He's kind of at the end of his road. But, I'm with you, Brian. You nailed it in my opinion.
If you could take a former Baylor athlete and we mentioned Laquan McGowan, that didn't work out, nor did it ever even kickstart. But if you could take a former Baylor athlete, no matter the sport, to be a part of that, who would you think would have been the most successful?
Rico Gathers.
Yeah, I could see Rico.
Is Brian still on? Or we
I
could see Rico. Yeah, I mean, especially because he's got a big personality. He's got good size. He would make sense. I'm trying to think. There's not really anybody else that's coming to mind.
Doesn't have to be a football player.
No, I'm not thinking
that's why
of just
you mentioned
football. But there's not like a baseball player that pops into my head that I'm like, hey, he'd be great. I don't know. Sean Oakman obviously would have been somebody you could have expected to go down that route. He would definitely have needed to have done some more leg presses because he would have looked kind of weird in the tights with the upside down triangle shape that he was. But I'll tell you, this is total wrestling nerd thing for a moment. a university in Texas, which is not West Texas A&M anymore, is it? It's like Texas A&M Kingsville. Is that right?
No.
It's
West Texas A&M that's who it is.
It is still West Texas A&M?
I'm almost positive. Texas A&M Kingsville used to be Texas A&I.
Okay. Well, West Texas A&M actually had it's now known as West Texas A&M. It used to be West Texas State.
Right.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's where Dwayne Thomas may have gone to college.
Yeah, it's out there in Canyon. So anyways, they actually back in the day had a really impressive run of pro wrestlers that came out of the football program there. And some of them played actually and some of them didn't. But you had the Funk Brothers. Yeah, Bruiser Brody was at West Texas. Stan Hansen, who actually lives in Waco. And, man, I would love to talk to him at some point. Tito Santana, you may remember that name. They were Tully Blanchard. Dusty Rhodes, there was 15 guys who came through the football program or through that university that all ended up being stars. So that's kind of a cool history that they have there.
If you know how to get a hold of Stan Hansen, then let us know. We'll try to get him on. Dwayne Thomas did go to what is now West Texas State University.
The last time I heard anything about Stan Hansen, apparently he hangs out at the YMCA in Waco or something. That's what somebody told me one time, but I don't know. That was years ago.
Scotty said, how about Mark Vital?
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
Oh, yeah.
I think he'd be good.
Yeah.
DG's OG Classic Wrestlers.
Yeah. What's that?
DG on the chat for live.
The OG Classic Wrestlers. Yeah. I just named a couple there with Dusty Rhodes, Tully Blanchard,
That's
Stan
one
Hansen.
school that produced all them?
Yeah, they produced all those guys. And I think, obviously a couple of them probably got into it and then it spread throughout the locker room or something like that. But yeah, they had 10, 15 guys that all ended up being big stars back from the 70s.
My brother, Philip, who I will see this weekend, went to Universal City Randolph like I did. And Craig, as knows this, Shawn Michaels went to school at Randolph. He was a Rohawk. I don't remember his real name.
Michael Hickenbottom.
But he was one of Philip's best friends.
That's his name, Michael Hickenbottom. Yeah. When my Uncle Philip first told me that, said, I knew Shawn Michaels in high school. I'm like, you're full of it. I was 8 years old. And he knew I was a big wrestling fan. He's like, I went to high school with him. I'm like, no, you didn't.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of a Baylor. He was very quiet, but he had there would have been a place for him. But Bo Blackshear had kind of that big wrestler body. There are strong silent types that they have.
Yeah, but you got to have a character, man. That's the thing, is you can be as big as you want to, but if you can't really wrestle or you don't have a character or you can't talk, then it's really all for naught. You're just size. And what I was saying is, so my Uncle Philip said, I knew Shawn Michaels in high school. That's not his real name, though, and I didn't know this was all, set up back in the day. I still thought it was real at one point. So I'm like, what do you mean it's a fake name? What? It just blew my mind, dude. I think it kind of opened the door to me probably being interested in, the behind-the-scenes stuff. But, yeah, when I learned his name was Michael Hickenbottom. Shawn Michaels is so cool. His last name is Hickenbottom, but, hey, he made it work. He made it work eventually.
It blew my mind when I realized that actors and actresses did not use their real name. Yeah. And even some that are in the profession of radio and television changed their name. When I first got into television in Lufkin, the news director, Bob Bashaw, asked me if I wanted to change my name. And I was like, that's the name my mom and dad gave me. And I thought the last name of Smoak was kind of unique, and I kept it.
Several times throughout my career, people have asked me if Catalina is my real last name. And I'm like, yeah.
I just think you use it so you could be a part of the mafia, Godfathers. Yeah. You could always bring up the Italian thing.
Yeah.
Right?
But some people ask me that, because of the salad dressing. I'm like, oh, kiss my butt. Come on. Salad dressing.
That's not good.
I'm making salad dressing.
Is that the one that's kind of orangey color?
Yeah, it's weird.
Thousand Island.
It's weird. It's a weird, tangy, it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, putting a bow on it, I think Sean Oakman would probably be my choice as far as the one that would make the most sense.
And then Vital would be in the discussion.
And Vital would be in the discussion.
Yeah, Laquan could have been, but you're right. He would have to take a beating at times, and even at 400 pounds, would he be in shape to be able to do that?
I think, and it's a thing that's dying. I don't think I'm going to even be able to watch pro wrestling in probably 15 years. I really don't know if that'll even be the case, just because entertainment's changing so much. But it's a lot tougher to even break in and actually thrive. And I go back to, I don't know that Laquan was tough enough. I don't know that he would have made it out of the training portion of what you're required to do. And I don't know that it really fit his personality to be, on camera in front of thousands. I don't know that really would have been his comfort zone, so to speak. But, man, he had the look. That's for sure. He had the look.
All right, we will have Paul's 5 at 5:55 here momentarily.
I do want to bring up something.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, this is an opportunity. I know we do have some Baylor students that listen to us, and hopefully you spread the word and you have more and more of the students that start to listen to us. But I did see a cool opportunity that Baylor football had put out there for current Baylor students. And if you've ever thought about getting into the game of football behind the scenes or whatever the case may be, they are looking for full-time students who have an interest in starting pretty much right away this summer or in August to be a part of the staff as far as like the development side, the recruiting side, the operations side. So they put out the call now a couple of times on social media. Full-time Baylor students able to start summer or August 2021. High-energy, hardworking students interested in operations, recruiting, and player development. You can email Baylor football if you're
really
interested
cool.
in that. Yeah, so I just thought that's worth passing along because, people, how can I get my foot in the door? How, that kind of, well, this is a great way to get your foot in the door, and not like on the media side, but like actually within the program. So I would definitely take advantage if I was a current Baylor student and perhaps had an interest in that field. So definitely do that.
My first job in television or television radio was in November of 1981. I made $180 a week. But I got my foot in the door. $180 a week. And eventually that went to $360, and it was like I won the lottery. Seriously. If you have a chance, if you really want to get into any kind of college athletics, that's an incredible opportunity. And more of these opportunities, more opportunities out there now than ever before, even though there's also more that can digest that it's out there. So if you want to do that, that's what you can do. A couple of stories for the day, and then we get to Paul's 5 at 5:55. Scott Drew, Jason Jennings, and Susie Snyder-Eppers are all now a part of the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame ballot. That doesn't mean they're in the ballot. The ballot will come out at some point later on this summer.
Let me ask you this question, guys. I think Scott Drew has probably set himself up for the regular basketball Hall of Fame at some point. If he continues to go on the trajectory that he is. Is it too soon for the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, or do you think he's already with that national title that seals the deal?
Yeah, I think, and just based on the past of how people have gotten in, that's why I said he was a Texas Sports Hall of Famer before that, because there are people with his same credentials in the Texas Sports Hall of Fame before the national title. So that's why I think for the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, he's now well surpassed it with a national title. Yeah,
probably more work to do, even with the title, though, for the Naismith. You got to have some. He's had longevity, but he's certainly on the right track. That's
I went
guaranteed.
to the site, and you have names like Larry Allen and Troy Aikman, and you have names like Sammy Ball and Gil Brandt and, others that are a part of it. Hall of Famers at their various respective sports. Gary Blair's in it. And Gary Blair's now coached a long, long time, won a national title at A&M, coached at Dallas, South Oak Cliff, won state championships there, then went to La Tech, and then went to Stephen F. Austin, Arkansas, and A&M. So all the other stuff outside the state of Texas, you can be somewhere else if you were born and raised in Texas or went to school in Texas. Shaq is an example.
Did nothing in the state of Texas outside of high school, but was at San Antonio, Cole, and
So Scott Drew, what he's done, like Mac Brown, he's not from Texas, but we know why Mac Brown would in it. Tim Brown is from Texas, but he never played other than high school football in Texas, so he's in it. So I think what Scott Drew did was going to be a part of the conversation for the next 3 to 5 years, and he became the conversation a lot quicker. And I've seen this happen before. We have had discussions, and I wasn't able to be a part of that meeting today. We have had discussions before about when is it too early. It's just the same discussion, by the way, of when do you put names on courts or when do you build statues or put names on buildings. It is a very legitimate discussion of how is too soon. In Scott Drew's case, too soon got wiped out with what he did in Indianapolis, in my opinion, because it's now almost a 20-year career with what he's done.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Let's see. You have so many names in that. It's so hard. And I'm telling you right now, I'm going to go down this list again, and I know, Paul, you got your thing coming up in a minute. Let's say 6 or 7 people get in, right? On average, and there's also a couple of the veterans ballot. So I want you to think about this. Scott Drew, and you tell me, we'll vote almost verbally. let's say you could vote for 7 people, and you don't know all the names, but I'm going to give them to you. Scott Drew.
Yes.
Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah, he's going to get in, even though all that's outside
You
of
know
Texas.
why? Well, he just won a World Series.
Yeah.
He's from Highland. No, is he from Highland
Yeah,
Park?
Highland Park.
Okay, he's a great pitcher.
That dump.
And
you'd ever hire
he's going
anybody
to draw
from Highland
people.
Park.
He's going to draw people.
Yeah.
Simone Biles.
Yeah,
I can't imagine she. Now, Chris Bosh is being inducted into the Naismith Hall of Fame, I think, next year. 11-time NBA All-Star. But before you go, Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili.
Yes and yes.
You want Parker, Ginobili, Duncan, and Popovich in the same class. And Duncan and Popovich, I think, are in, but
I think Duncan's never showed it. Oh, yeah,
I don't think you want them all going in the same class, though. I think you want to split that up.
Well, you might.
Why?
Maybe Duncan and Popovich, and then Parker and Ginobili. Okay. Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gone.
Okay, then you do that. Then you also. And this
but it's also kind of like based on what? Like that's all. That's Highland Park, and that's just longevity in the NFL.
But the mantra is have brought glory, or good things to the state. Basically, they brought good attention to the state of Texas.
But we'll keep going. Priest Holmes, Wes Welker, and Colt McCoy are carryovers.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have thought that because, and let's not fool ourselves, Colt McCoy, UT, Priest Holmes, UT, that would have happened. But they are carryovers. And those are some 3 very popular, and of course, Welker from Texas Tech.
I didn't even know Priest Holmes had gone to Texas till well into his NFL career, and I'm not sure why. I think I must have just blacked it out or something.
He was on that 96 team.
No, I know, but I think I just probably focused more on Ricky Williams or something. But
Mike Renfro's a holdover. So on the veterans, you think of Mike Renfro, I think of like a 33-year-old blonde. Robert Brazil, Bob Beamon, the world record holder. So some of those names, it's going to be interesting to see. It's not just a given. But I think because of what Scott Drew just did, I do believe it'd be surprising if he's not a part of it. 5:48, Paul's 5 at 5:55 is coming up next.
One, two.
I'm in love with a man named Rudy. I'm okay with that. He knows exactly what I want. He keeps me coming back. Cooks breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me. Does the dishes too. I'm in love with a man named Rudy, last name barbecue. It sure is easy to fall in love with Rudy's tasty oak smoked barbecue.
Next in line.
Don Humidor, your home with a 48-foot walk-in humidor with the elite cigar brands from around the world, including the #1 cigar of the year, Aging Room Cuatro Nicaragua. Plus, they have the great brands like Macanudo and Artur Fuente, Rocky Patel, Aston, and so much more. CBD, great for sore muscles, aches and pains, sleep, Vita Dreams, and anxiety, mild depression, general health and wellness. Their staff very knowledgeable on the subject. If anyone is curious about CBD, ask Carol and Ashley. Don Humidor in the Townwest Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco.
It takes time to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than sports. It goes for your financial goals as well. You work hard for your money, and you deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. And Tom Albers, your Edward Jones financial advisor, can help. If your financial investments aren't putting forth the effort you desire, stop by today for a financial review. Tom Albers, 4301 Lakeshore Drive, 254-776-7605. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
At Baylor University, students find their place to shine. They're faithful friends and inspirational leaders. They're championship teammates and independent thinkers. They're on the cutting edge of high tech and in the halls of history. If you want to make the world a brighter place, you can. And if you want to shine in your own way, you can. The spark you need is already inside you. Bring it to Baylor, where lights shine bright.
It's time time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, or get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. Order 30-pound sacks of live crawfish by 6 on Wednesday. Pick up on Friday afternoon after 2 or Saturday. Enjoy the weekend. 30-pound sacks of live crawfish available right now for $4.25 a pound. Find all the crawfish boil ingredients you need, including red beef potatoes, sausage, corn cobbettes, and Louisiana boil seasoning. Make your order for live crawfish by Wednesday at 6. Pick up on Friday after 2 or all day Saturday, and enjoy the weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace, your home for fresh baked kolache, cinnamon rolls every day. Butcher shop to cut your steaks the way you want. Fresh seafood, summer sausage, boudin, house cured and smoked bacon, spices, seasoning, soup mixes, and more, and weekly gift boxes for any occasion. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
In Texas, there's pea-size hail and baseball-size hail. Guess which one hit our house? We didn't even know where to begin, but we called our Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent, and he was so reassuring. He knew exactly what to do to get our house back into shape and our lives back to normal. Now, we're even more thankful for the roof over our heads.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
SicEm365 Radio is presented by IdealMRI.com. High-quality MRIs for $497 or less. IdealMRI.com. Your health is important, so is your budget.
This is Paul Catalina's Top 5 at 5:55.
All right, once again, thanks to Matt McBrayer. Before I even get to our sponsor, Slapsticks, things are coming along. The walls are going up at Slapsticks. Go to slapstickscomedy.com. We got a show on June 11th at Rogue Media you can buy tickets for. It's a Friday night. But thanks to Matt McBrayer. He's got a million lists for me, and he really enjoys this segment, so we're dedicating this one to him. And since Smokey's not going to be here for the weird one on Friday, I thought I would do it today. And this is from Matt McBrayer's suggestion. Again, the top 5 brought to you by Slapsticks Comedy Club. Top 5 movies involving airplanes. Smokey, I think you've probably seen a couple of these. Craig, I think you've probably seen at least 4 of them. I'm not so sure on number 4, but we'll see. Number 5. Flight, starring Denzel Washington.
Yeah, this is a weird movie, and I did watch it, and I think I watched it when we were in New York.
It's super intense. It's about his bout with this pilot's bout with alcoholism, and the first scene where he flips the plane. It's pretty awesome. But Flight.
Actually, have not watched this movie.
You have not. It's very good.
Nope. Love Denzel, but have not watched this movie. I've seen parts of it, and like one of those, like I'm going to put it down until I can watch it from the beginning, and I just never have.
Yeah.
By the way, I got to tell you guys, the Yellowstone series has got me all hooked up.
Really?
Good.
I'm glad.
Season 4 starts, I think, sometime this month. I mentioned that a couple of weeks ago.
Good.
Yeah. Number 4.
All those planes in Yellowstone.
Well, you can't even find them.
Yeah. Number 4. Iron Eagle, starring Lou Gossett Jr. and a cast of kids you probably wouldn't recognize. This movie, Craig, have you seen Iron Eagle?
No.
Okay. How can I describe it?
That looks like a cartoon name.
It does, but like that was the graphics of the movie. But Lou Gossett Jr. is like this old pilot who teaches these kids how to fly fighter jets. I'm going to tell you, it's a pretty good movie. It's based in 80s. It's a very 80s movie. It's very, very 80s.
Well, yeah, between the graphic and Lou Gossett Jr., it has to be a very 80s movie.
It's very 80s. Yeah. Very 80s. All right, number 3, Air Force One, starring Harrison Ford. Famous for the last line where he kills Gary Oldman, who's the bad guy, and goes, "Get off my plane." Pretty awesome.
Yeah, I liked Air Force One.
Yeah. The president just kicking everybody's ass.
Is that, by the way, is that part of that same guy that was is the person that's in movies because he's an CIA guy? Jack Ryan.
Well, yeah, no, it was not. This was not a Jack. He was Jack Ryan, yes, in 2 movies, Clear and Present Danger and Patriot Games. But yes,
okay.
he was Jack Ryan. He was a great Jack Ryan, as a matter of fact. Number 2, maybe the best Jack Ryan. Number 2, Top Gun.
Ooh.
love Top Gun. Love Top Gun. Saw it on TV the other day. It's not the greatest movie in the world, but it's just
pretty
fun.
awesome.
It's freaking fun, and it's awesome. I'm looking forward to the next Top Gun.
It's coming out at Christmas, yeah.
The new one that's, 30 years later, and Tom Cruise is still firing on all cylinders, it appears like.
What about Val Kilmer? Is he in it?
He is, but he's had some health problems.
Yeah,
so I'm wondering how they're gonna work him into it. But yes, Val Kilmer, Iceman. If
he
you can
can't
do
even,
it,
like, talk.
That's a great song.
If you can do a jaw snap.
What's the name of the song? That's the great song.
I've got it in my iTunes.
Gloria
actually.
Gaynor?
No.
No.
Gloria freaking Gaynor. Are you kidding me? No.
Kenny Loggins did most of the soundtrack. Take My Breath Away.
Yeah.
Take My Breath Away.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. Like the theme song or the
I don't know.
The bar
Highway
scene.
to the Danger Zone.
Yeah, that one too.
And then of course, in the bar scene, they sang "You've Lost That Love and Feeling," but the soundtrack was Kenny Loggins.
Okay.
Yeah, another thing that makes it awesome.
Kenny
Loggins is still around,
right. Okay.
going strong. All right, number one of the funniest movies ever made, Airplane.
Is this one of those
Okay, come on, dude. Airplane is like a 1980 movie. There's no part of you that should be like, well, I don't really watch TV anymore. You don't know Airplane.
That's a comedy, right?
Yes. It is the comedy.
It's like a legendary comedy.
Yeah.
Kareem
Abdul-Jabbar's got a great cameo in it.
I've seen it. I just don't remember much about it.
Yeah. I mean,
See, I was thinking that maybe...
Johnny, you like movies about gladiators.
I'm trying to think of what other movie about an airplane that you didn't make it in here.
There's several. Like, I could have done The Aviator, which is about Howard Hughes, which is an excellent movie. Yeah.
Aviator's great. I liked Aviator a lot. I like Leo DiCaprio.
I thought about putting Aviator
one about the Hudson River?
Oh, Sully?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it looked Sully and the Aviator almost made it in over Flight and Iron Eagle. I wanted Iron Eagle in here for the laugh benefit of it.
Iron Eagle's a broadcaster.
Iron Eagle. Yeah, Iron Eagle. Yeah.
I'm not a real big fan of things being made a movie like 3 years after they happened. So when
Sully,
like Sully just happened in real life. I don't really need to see Tom Hanks, reenacting it 3 years later. That's just me though. Like that's just my own. I'll watch plenty of historical movies and things, but that just was very quickly after the fact that we already had a movie about this guy. But it was very heroic what he did. So I get it.
Yeah, and Sully's a good one, but I don't think it's on the top 5, and it's not over Flight, which kind of takes a Sully type situation and then throws some extra sauce on it. And then, I mean, obviously Iron Eagle and Air Force One on here are not movies that are going to win Academy Awards.
Doesn't mean there's not many to choose from here.
No, they're about airplanes. Yeah, I mean, The Aviator won some because it was.
Where's Soul Plane at, Paul?
Or Snakes on a Plane.
Snakes on a Plane. Yeah,
I didn't do, Snakes on a Plane. Missed the cut. So
okay.
By the way, saw this new list from this same site. Guess how I saw it?
Oh my God! Yeah, yep. Who retweeted it? Greatest list of all time.
Our buddy Drake, he retweeted Big Game Boomers lists, which now is the top 10 quarterbacks in every FBS conference, and is starting a discussion about Bohannon's rankings.
I guess it's time for me to maybe block somebody else. I thought I already had.
Look, this I'm not getting on Drake. I'm just saying this. Like I told y'all earlier, I knew that was how I had seen these lists, and just sure enough, as soon as we're going off the air, here's Drake interacting with this account that's got 25 lists that's being posted right now. So, I was right.
Me, of all the people this guy could have picked to put on a list to promote him, he picked the right one.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
that's true.
He rolled the dice, and that came up. That came up huge.
Mavericks tonight, Game 5 against the Clippers. Good luck to MCC against San Jacinto. Thanks to Scott Drew, Mitch Thompson, Bosqueville High's David Anderson. Thanks to Jared Butler from yesterday, the replay, and John Machota, theathletic.com. I'll be back on Tuesday. Paul and Craig have it. Until then, Hayden, Jack, Armstrong, Marco's Pizza, thank you for delivering as you always do. For Paul Catalina and Craig Smoak, I'm David Smoak. Thank you for watching and listening. Our great sponsors, SicEm365 Radio.
MRI is a small family business right here in Central Texas. We're open to support you while lowering the cost of healthcare bills. When you need an MRI, ask your doctor for an Ideal MRI. Visit us at idealmri.com or call us at 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has been proudly serving Texans across the state for over 60 years. Call 254-772-8090 to find an agent who will provide a free review of your auto, home, and life coverage.